connection is coming.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Here we go. Are you ready? Ignition sequence. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Radio connected.
And now, connected to.
You're listening to 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair, New Jersey. Ladies, gentlemen, everybody else, welcome. This is the Super Buzz. No, we're not superheroes, but today it is World College Radio Day, and for the Super Buzz, we have not just myself, but a whole slew of listeners and of guests. I'm still waking up. Everybody, please, let's run down the list and introduce ourselves. As always, representing the Monday show with me in our virtual studio here is...
Amanda Marino.
And then from the Tuesday Buzz, we have the dynamic duo.
Eric Cicchetti.
And Philippe Costa. And representing the Wednesday crew, the other person couldn't make it, but we still have...
Sabrina Heisek.
And sadly, the Thursday crew could not make it today, but from the Friday crew, we have both...
George Jangoshin.
There you go.
Leslie Gallagher.
It's pretty early for all of us, let's be honest. But
An hour earlier.
Yeah.
it is an hour earlier for all of us. So
I don't know what you two are talking about, because I'm usually in studio by like 6:30 when I have to do it on Tuesdays. So I'm
whatever.
I'm going.
I'm usually not up at 6:30.
This is a flex. I don't care. I don't care.
This is a you problem. I don't want to. I don't care.
No,
I'm never
it's not
up
a-
this early.
It's not a problem. It's me just showing how much better I am than everyone else.
Oh, you are. Maybe you should go back to sleep. I
Let's
think
be
something's a little bit
real.
off.
Honestly, going live from Zoom is pretty great. You could just roll out of bed, just like sit down, turn on your camera.
Oh,
It's so much
1,000%. Especially like from class or something. Like when it's like a morning class, you're just like, well, set my alarm for a solid 3 minutes before class starts, and
Oh no, I
faster
can't.
happen.
there.
I can't do that on Mondays and Thursdays because I take Annabella's podcasting class. And Mondays and Thursdays, you
she
start
knows.
9:45. She's ready to go. She's
She
ready to go.
knows.
So I have to go in. I might be like, "Good morning, Professor." She's just like in your face, ready to go, and I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah,
She's
I was
fantastic.
gonna say, from contributing on your guys' show in the summer and stuff, you guys were just like rolling in like 10 minutes before, and you were like, I was still sleeping.
Oh no, it's against our will, but we do it. That's how. That's what radio. That's what the great thing about radio and college radio is. Like a lot of times, you may not be ready to go mentally right away, but you kind of force yourself to, and not
it teaches you how. It
Yeah.
teaches
Kind
you
of-
how to like be ready to go.
you kind of just flip that switch, and no matter how tired you are or how like bad of a day you're having, you're just like, oh, I'm on air in 30
Boom.
seconds. Okay, now I'm awake, and I put all my other stuff to the side for an
Yeah.
hour.
I think this show is awesome too to have everybody here because it just really does show how college radio impacts like all of us. So I think it's great to do this whole show together with all of you guys. It's really
Yeah.
epic, something awesome. to think
Before we
about.
go any further, Kyle, can you describe for people that aren't watching us on Facebook Live what on earth is going on behind you in your virtual background? I don't want to put you on the spot, but that is
Impressive.
staring
It's
into my
fine. It's
soul.
fine. This is the career I want to go into. I got to get used to this.
All right.
It's a piece I like to call Eyes of Corn,
Okay.
and it's a cornfield, and the all sentient eyes searching. It was the Halloween piece I did.
I
a few
like
years
it.
ago.
Okay.
It's like
I
the
love
eyes
it.
of Gritty are like looking through the sky at you because he's an
Yeah.
omnipotent god.
And you said it was yours, right? So like I think
Yeah.
it's even more awesome that it's like your piece and you're like, here's my work. I'm gonna just like
I
represent
love it.
the
I
background.
Yeah, I made this for like the October, so I figured why not do it again.
I was just gonna say it's very
Amazing.
Halloween-y,
It's
so
spooky
it's perfect
season.
for the season.
It's
I-
spooky season for
I love how the
sure.
Yes,
eyes
it
of
is.
corn are looking down at the ears of corn.
I was just about to say it. Please tell me I'm not the only one who
Go
caught
back
the
to bed.
incredible pun of the title, right?
Go back to bed. Go
Um,
back. I'm cutting you off. Go back to bed.
No, but if I go back to bed, you can't see my fine glassware behind
Yeah,
me.
no, leave the zoom on. I can see the fine glassware either way.
I know this wasn't a show that we all pictured would be
Joking,
over
okay.
Zoom for sure. I think we all thought it would be in person, but we're gonna make the most of it over Zoom. And for anybody that's listening, you could also tune in to us on Facebook Live. Live and later on YouTube. But
yeah, or you can go
first-
back to sleep and just watch it on YouTube.
But-
No, don't do that. Don't hang
Don't
up.
do that.
Don't
Oh.
disincentivize them.
We're celebrating College Radio Day together here on the Super Buzz. But first, before we go into any stories, Kyle, do you want to hit us with that newscast?
Sure thing. So I've got a couple of stories today, and let's begin without further delay. From AP News, President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive for coronavirus. The president tweeted last night, quote, "Tonight at First Lady of the United States, and I tested positive for COVID-19. We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together," end quote. The president is currently 74 years old, and his older age puts him at a greater risk from the virus. In New Jersey news, initially planned to open in March but delayed due to COVID and lockdown, the American Dream Mall is now open according to NJ.com. Located in East Rutherford off of Route 3, the mega complex has awaited the opening of its next project, 80 to 100 additional stores with 2 miniature golf courses and a water park. The newly added stores will be dispersed throughout the first 3 levels and can range from clothing stores to entertainment venues and amusement parks. And finally, for good news, a group of college students have invented a device that can collect microplastics emitted from vehicle tires. Shaban Anderson, Hanson Chang, Deepak Malaya, and Hugo Richardson have come up with the tire collector to combat this issue. The device attaches itself to the vehicle's tires and picks up tire dust before it can be dispersed in the air, and then can be repurposed into new tires. Additionally, the team's efforts have been recognized as a winner of the James Dyson Award, according to the Good News Network. And in terms of weather, I would look out the window, but the sun's not even up yet, so I'll just go off my weather app. It is currently 55 degrees and raining here in Manalapan with a high of 66 and a low of 45. We have a sunset at 6:37 p.m. And I should also mention the sunrise is at 6:56 this morning. And we have a 10% chance of rain throughout the day.
Thank you, Kyle, so much for that newscast. And also, yeah, I was gonna look out my window too, but
You're in
Yeah.
a basement.
yeah, well,
I'm in
no,
a
there.
studio with
Excuse
no
me.
windows.
There's a window right there, and it's dark out. So
Oh, there's nothing better than waking up in the absolute pitch dark where you can't
Mhm.
see anything as you're walking, and you don't want to turn on the lights too, because like
Mhm.
I don't know
Oh,
if you
yeah.
guys live with your family, but like I was
It
trying
feels
to be like
authentic,
quiet.
though. It feels authentic. It
It
feels,
feels like high school. That's what it feels like.
It feels like when I used to have to drive to when we used to actually be able to go into the studio and we'd actually get up in the morning, whether you live on campus or you drive
Yeah.
onto campus, you'd get up, you get outside all bleary eyed, and all you see is like
Looking
like
the
death.
street lights.
Mm.
do you mean like
Looking
waiting,
death.
looking for the bus and being like, should I like walk or should I like
Is the
wait?
shuttle
waiting there
gonna
in the
screw me in every
cold.
direction or not?
Yeah.
I can attest this morning. I was going to try and take the shuttle, but it never came, despite the fact that it starts at 6 a.m. So
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
George
that
was
happens.
going to join
Just
me here.
just
this morning,
campus
but-
things.
Just
Yeah.
campus
Yeah.
thing.
Only on
It's
a
all
Monday.
here.
And then you have to realize you have to you're like, do I go get coffee? Do I have time?
I had
hit
a
that Alban
weird-
pan
Yeah.
outside the radio, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You
That
could
good bread,
You could
that
look
good
those
bread.
professors in the eye and just be like,
You both give each other a nod, and you're like,
yeah.
You're like,
it's one of those days.
it's one thing we have in common.
I will say, I was looking
Our
at the
neighbor
weather
couple.
because I'm driving up to Boston to visit my sister up at Boston University. It is warmer in Boston, Massachusetts than it is here in New Jersey.
Wow.
What?
That's because they're
Doesn't
closer to.
I mean, when you're close to Fenway Park, then yeah, of course they are. So.
Close to Fenway Park, TD Garden. They're still pretty close to Foxborough, right?
Anyways,
It's
They're
further
closer to
out.
heck.
Before we move on with the rest of our show, George, do you have a 2-minute warning for us today?
Here we go.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
awesome.
In football, the New York Jets lost to the Denver Broncos in the Meadowlands 37-28. Despite Jets quarterback Sam Darnold rushing for a touchdown and a pick six from Pierre Desir, it wasn't enough as they go 0-4 in the season, whereas the Broncos get their first win. In baseball news, the San Diego Padres came back last night against the St. Louis Cardinals to win 11-9. The do-or-die game will play tonight in San Diego to see what team will go on to the NLDS. And quick shout-out to my man Javier Reyes, who is the host of the Locked On Padres podcast and also a huge Padres fan.
Hey.
And finally, in hockey news, Tara Philippe, I'm doing this for you. Henrik Lundqvist had the final season of his 7-year contract bought out by the New York Rangers on Wednesday. The 38-year-old goalie agreed to the $59.5 million contract extension, $8.5 million average annual value, with the Rangers on December 4th, 2013. That's my news. What's yours? I haven't said that in a long time because I did that with you, Tara, when
Yeah.
you hosted the show with Kate Bronstein. But
I appreciate
same.
that. I appreciate that immensely. I had something last night that made me think of you and our sports people because one of the greatest stupid takes in the history of sports television came across my Twitter feed again.
this should
Oh
be good.
no.
It's Max Kellerman from
Oh, yeah.
ESPN, and
Oh, it's ESPN.
yeah, somebody asked him whether, like, at the last moments of the game, he wants Steph Curry or Andre Iguodala to take the shot, and he confidently just goes. He goes down this whole list of like, whole planets on the line. Martians got the death beam pointed at Earth. I want Iguodala. I think Steph Curry is the greatest shooter in the modern NBA. And you're just like, I want Iguodala for no reason at all.
You know what? I think with Max Kellerman, like on that show, it's just hot takes aplenty, hot takes galore. And you know what? Like I think with him, it's not even serious anymore because there's just
The
they're
character.
dishing out. They're trying. Him and Stephen A. Smith are trying to outdo each other on who has the stupidest take. So. And don't listen to ESPN either because it's not all about what they're doing. So.
Yeah, I will say if you are hungry and you're in the area of hobbies, since you mentioned Lundqvist, you can buy their soup, their King Henrik soup. Comes in a bowl because he has no cups, and it costs $19.94. So
Wow.
yeah, but they give you a
Alright.
spoon so you don't choke on it, so that's good.
So I'm gonna be the one that drops the conversation so we could actually move on with the show.
Yeah, we're
I'm
gonna
sorry
move
to-
on because, as you
sorry
may
to
or
be
may
that
not
one.
know, sports are dumb.
Okay, 10 a.m. with me and my co-host Anthony Paradiso and a three other guests. Look forward to it. It's gonna be great.
All
Oh
that
wow,
is
that
segue.
was a
That-
nice plug.
That's
That
a
was
plug
nice-
of the century.
Got you.
But anyway, I'm so excited to do the show with you guys, and especially because I was looking at the script, and we have a lot of crazy stories
got
today.
some
and
stuff,
I-
yeah.
You got some sweet
And I
stories
think-
coming
I
up.
think-
Philippe,
Yeah.
please.
And I think what's fun too is, a lot of times we're very stuck in a lot of the hard news. And I think today it's definitely a day of lighter news for sure, but it's definitely stuff that we could have fun with as a different bunch of casts. You know what I mean? We all have different personalities and opinions. So I think it's going to be fun. So who wants to introduce our first story then?
It's about the most American story on the script today.
Ironically, coming out of Ireland.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Do you want to just go with whoever put it in introduces?
Sure.
Okay, I'll do it. I put it in.
Yeah,
So,
George.
let's do it. All right, College Radio Day 2020. All right, so the Irish Supreme Court has found that the bread in Subway's heated sandwiches has too much sugar in it to meet the legal definition of being bread. The court ruled that with the high sugar content, the sandwich could not be deemed a staple food, which attracts a zero VAT rate. It rejected arguments by Subway franchisee that it was not liable for VAT on some of its takeaway products, including teas, coffees, and heated-filled sandwiches. The appeal by Bookfinders Ltd, based in Tuam, I don't know if I'm saying that right, it's Irish, so Cole Galway, included consideration of whether the bread sold in Subway sandwiches fell outside the statutory definition of bread intended under the Value-Added Tax Act 1972 to attract a zero VAT rate. The five-judge court ruled the bread in Subway's heated sandwiches falls outside the statutory, said it right this time, definition because it had sugar content of 10 pc of the weight of the flour introduced in the dough. The act provides the weight of ingredients such as sugar, fat, and bread improver should not exceed 2 pc of the weight of flour in the dough. The clear intention of the detailed definition of bread, quote unquote, in the act was to distinguish between bread as a staple food, which should be OBC 0 BC rated, and certain other baked goods made from dough, Mr. Justice Donald O'Donnell said. Because the Subway heated sandwiches, such as hot meatball sandwiches, did not contain bread as defined, it could not be said to be food for purpose of the second schedule of the act, he said. The appeal by Bookfinders arose from a 2006 decision by the Revenue Commissioners refusing it a refund for VAT payments made between early 2004 and late 2005. Bookfinders claimed the refund on grounds it was subject to VAT at a composite rate of 9.2 PC when it argued the rate should have been 0 PC.
Oh my God.
That's a
So
lot
wait,
of Irish
ha-
jargon that I just
wait.
said there right there. I had no idea what I said.
What?
If it's not bread, what is it?
Well, it's
Like,
not. It's
food.
not food. It's not. So,
Treat.
so the
It's not even-
definition, from what I understood, it's not. It's a difference between like staple food as bread and when it becomes a more sugary baked product. So it's
I
not
get
like,
this
like a-
weird feeling that
It's like a
this has some-
donut.
Yeah, I get this weird feeling that this has something to do with like I don't know whatever their equivalent of like food stamps or something is, and they want to be able to provide less of it. That'd be my hunch, is if they were looking to axe something off of, but I can't. I don't know. But what I think is funny is that now that this has happened, right? Is that every time in this article the word bread is used, it's in quotes.
It's in
Like
quotes.
it's the most suspicious thing. Like bread, if that is your real name.
It's like a Dr. Evil thing. This
Yeah.
bread, mini-me.
Bread.
this
Yeah.
this reminds me of an FDA ruling that actually causes a lot of problems in New Jersey in terms of whether people call it Taylor ham or pork roll. Because
Don't
the reason,
even
So-
start,
Hold up.
Philippe.
We're
Hold
gonna
up.
start.
Listen, I'm not saying which one is right, which one is wrong. What I'm saying is when the FDA ruled on the legal definition of ham, it was called Taylor's prepared ham. And because it didn't fit that legal definition, that's when they changed the name to pork roll. That's like, this is eerily similar. So now I'm wondering if we're going to have parts of Ireland that are going to be arguing between whether
Maybe.
Subway bread is actual bread or
Yeah,
if
it
it's like
comes-
Or is it
sweet,
bread
sugary.
product? It's kind of like how Kraft cheese is not allowed to be called Kraft
It's
cheese.
a cheese product.
It's
Yeah.
cheese product. I saw a video of these guys dehydrating just a bunch of different like things, like in a dehydrator. They dehydrated a thing of Kraft cheese. Like
What
just
did it turn into?
slice.
Just paper?
Just a
You would
brick?
think it would melt when sitting at like 195 degrees for a couple hours or whatever. It just turned into like cardboard.
Ew.
Disgusting.
That's so gross.
Turns
This
into-
makes me want to now do some weird like science experiments on bread, on Subway
Yeah, I was
rolls.
gonna say but the bread. If you do the same kind of experiment with bread, I'm sure it would come out disgusting,
Well, it would
especially
just
from
come out
Subway.
like bad toast, right?
Like,
I mean,
ugh.
if you don't toast it
I
too,
mean, like,
you
can
don't
you
toast
make
it long
into a
enough.
donut? Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
Like I feel like this is from like like kind of like the Taylor ham thing. There's some like weird legal reasoning that they need to know this for like providing resources and stuff.
I just feel like they're hating on Subway bread, and honestly, Subway bread like smacks. It's so
It
good.
Okay.
does.
Oh,
Like,
that's a
this
take and a half.
That's
Can I-
it's
can I-
rubbery.
Okay,
That's
wait,
a take and a half.
I'm gonna give a hot take real quick. I don't eat sandwiches at all. Like that's like one thing about
Amanda,
me. That's so
Amanda?
weird.
What?
Hey,
I
why?
am so
I
weird.
don't
I just
understand
don't.
it.
I
Leave
don't-
this Zoom
I
call
don't-
right now.
all right, you know what? I will kick people
What do
out of
you-
this Zoom call. I just don't eat sandwiches. Like I'm
And what do
more
you
like,
eat?
like salads, things like that.
Oh, you're
Anyways,
boring.
I am boring. But do you know what's
Salad.
okay? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but anyway, no, yeah.
Do you not
my-
like bread? Wait, are you like an actual like bread hater? Is that
No,
your-
I love bread. I eat
It's like
so
a
much
crab-
bread.
It's
No,
like a
I-
Krabby Patty without the
doesn't even
bread
make
or the
sense.
Hey,
meat.
you know what? I didn't think I was gonna get attacked
Or
like
the
that. No.
pickles.
I eat like I'm really basic. I'm like that 5-year-old friend you have, I guess. I think, and you babysit. I eat peanut butter and jelly like all the time. I also
Well,
Okay,
that's a sandwich.
Well, what about the
Sandwich.
bread?
But
If you're gonna have peanut butter and jelly,
No,
Eat
but-
He
grilled
just has it
cheese.
without the bread.
that too. I don't eat like cold cuts or anything. That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
Oh, okay,
okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
No, I get that.
Okay, so
Amanda, now
anyway.
we like don't hate you because like you do eat sandwiches. So
We
it's not-
respect
No. So what's funny with the Subway story is anytime I would go past a Subway or something, I couldn't stand it because there was always a smell and I hated it so much. And that might have been, I like
Yeah.
it would make me even like not want to go near it. And like I don't know, that's just my opinion, but
There's like
yeah,
a-
I don't
I-
know.
We
I have
got
like a
some-
theory that if you stay inside of a Subway for more than 5 minutes, that smell will not leave your clothes for at least a week.
No, it's like it snitches on you. But we
Yeah.
get some people on the back end helping us out, which we are super grateful
yeah,
for because
they're
it's-
awesome.
they got up just as early as us and they're not on mic. Can one of you please find for me the story where they found the same compound that was in yoga mats in Subway food.
Yes, I remember
That's
that.
Can
Oh,
you please find that story
okay.
for me? Because now this is all I'm thinking about. Like, no, I
That's-
know it's not bread, it's plastic.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is.
That's similar to there was a story where Fireball whiskey, they had sent a batch that was made for Europe to the U.S. and a batch that was made for U.S. to Europe, and it was denied in the U.S. because there was a certain chemical preservative they used that was too high in the U.S. batch, and too high in the batch sent from Europe that the FDA here rejected it. And the whole thing is that it's like it's a preservative, but it's also most commonly used in windshield wiper fluid.
Oh, that's whack.
Yeah, so
Wild.
yeah, we have our wonderful
There we
Lauren.
go.
She
Lauren
she got
Small.
us the ingredient azodicarbonamide
What'd you
Wow.
call me?
is approved by the FDA for use in food as a bleaching agent and dough conditioner. The
Yeah, that's
Environmental
the
Working
Yoga Mat
Group
ingredient.
published a list of nearly 500 food products containing the chemical, including Little Debbie honey buns, Pillsbury toasters, strudel, and many items served at McDonald's, Burger King, and Starbucks. McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, White Castle, and Jack in the Box also used to use it. Thanks. That
They're
was
also
from
used
Kenny.
to make yoga
They
mats.
stopped using it in 20.
I think people.
Yeah.
I think people forget
Thank
that
God.
we put so many preservatives in a lot of different foods,
yeah.
Mhm.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Facts.
So none of these chemicals or anything, at least for the most part, are known to cause humans harm. We do find out every once in a while that more research is done. We're able to connect it to things like cancer and other diseases. But
Yeah,
for the
like-
most part, it's just stuff that goes in your body and comes out. You know,
You know what else you could do? Speaking of things you could do with Subway food,
Throw
is
it
you
out?
could take all the bread. You could throw it out, or if you want to be environmentally conscious, this is the last thing. I'll leave you guys with a helpful tip at home if you guys want to try this one day. If you're gonna do yoga, just take the bread and lay it out on the floor in a square pattern. Make sure it's square. It's the same size in every direction.
You could do your
Well,
stretching
but
on
I,
it.
But I
And
like
then
my
you could
yoga mat's
downward dog on it.
triangular.
How
Does
do you
this
do
work
that?
with the
downward
same
bread.
Downward
Thank you,
bread.
Kenny. Thank you, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you, Kenny. That
No,
was wonderful.
so how do you start the conversation at Subway? If you need enough bread, do you go in and it's like, hello, I'd like 30 loaves of bread?
No, well, they're not loaves. They come in those pre-made rectangles. That's not a loaf.
They are rectangles. They're weird rectangles.
Yeah.
They're very
They're
$5
rolls.
$5 yoga mat.
Did you know that technically the reason it's
That's a good price
called
for
a
a yoga mat, to
foot long
be honest.
sub, but the name is like foot long, one word, because it's not 12 inches. It's
I
true.
12
figured
inch
it
sub.
wasn't.
There's
Yeah.
a joke there.
long
They
is it?
I don't think
literally
we can
just
make
co-
it.
Yeah,
No,
none
no,
of us can
no.
make
I'm not
it,
gonna
but
make
we
it.
all
You
know
know
the
what?
joke.
And that's where we move on.
I just want our audience to know.
There's a
We're
joke
thinking
there.
of you. We're thinking of you guys.
Can I ask a question to you guys though? So,
Yeah.
what do you guys like better, Jersey Mike's or Subway?
Jersey Mike's.
Okay.
I need to go to
I feel
Jersey
like
Mike's
we could
again
Easy.
because the last time I went to Jersey Mike's, I had a horrible experience in terms of being locked in the bathroom for at least 30 minutes. You remember this,
How
Tara?
does it? Wait, how does
No.
this happen?
It was all of us. So we
No,
all had
I don't remember this.
it was myself, Tara, Sean, and my ex. We all had a different thing from Jersey Mike's, and for whatever reason, it just ruined
Oh
us.
yeah, it did ruin us. I thought you meant you were locked in the Jersey Mike's bathroom for
So that's
30
how you
minutes.
did too.
They didn't
Like,
let me
Phil,
out.
I was just,
Take
I
my eyes off you for 1 second, and you
I
get
was
yourself
like-
locked in a bathroom. I had that
no.
happen to me though. That's a
It-
different
the-
story for a different day.
Philippe, I was concerned that you were talking to them about one of their secret ingredients they didn't want you to know about.
Jersey Mike's just trying to put me
Tell
out.
no one, slam.
No, so yeah, I want to go there again because we only ate there once, and the food wasn't bad. It was, I've only hear good things about Jersey Mike's for the most part. Apparently, it's huge in Houston and Austin.
Yeah, where they
Yeah.
don't know better.
Yeah,
Weirdly enough.
but
it
it's for fast food sandwiches. It's pretty solid. I just want to go again and have an experience where my entire,
Where the
gastro-
employees don't lock you in the bathroom.
and my
Stealing their
gastrointestinal
secrets.
tract doesn't rebel.
Yeah, besides, the correct answer to this question is the deli place by William Patterson that charges like $6 for a full sandwich, and it's delicious. And like,
Yeah.
most like ma and pa deli places. There's one in West Orange
Usually pretty
or
good.
literally down the street where our friend Liam, Tara and I, our friend Liam used to live in West Orange. Like they have, it's a joint pizza and deli place.
yeah,
So really, you have the best of both worlds right there. And
It makes
Some
me feel like
amazing
they have like they
sandwiches.
use the pizza as the bun, and they put like the toppings in.
Oh, it's
between,
all the
and they
same,
close it,
yeah,
and it's a
yeah.
pizza deli.
It's like a Krusty Krab pizza, basically.
Yeah, you just punch
It's
it and it
the
turns from
pizza.
one food into the
I hate
other.
the Krusty Krab pizza.
But as we've talked about Subway now
On to
for
the next one.
like 26 minutes. No, it was.
You know where sandwiches come from, kids. That was a
No.
terrible.
Amanda, you
segue.
started this when you said you didn't even eat sandwiches.
All right, you know what? I
Tiger.
don't need to be outed like that, okay? More than I already.
She's trying to
outed
pass the
myself.
blame off. Look at that.
Look at that. All right.
Sabrina, I
let's
see how it
move
is.
on.
I see it is.
We'll beef later. We'll
So
beef
this-
later.
This. who put this next story? Because this is a follow-up.
I did.
Follow-up story. So George, apparently this was also talked about the first part, I believe, on the Tuesday buzz.
This
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah.
This is
So
true.
this is a follow-up story. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, so police charged teens who invaded a popular Bergen County farm, which actually I've been to and is near my hometown. So Wyckoff police on Tuesday announced that they've charged an 18-year-old Burl man and 6 17-year-olds with breaking into a popular Bergen County farm, riding donkeys, and abusing a miniature horse. All are charged with trespassing, criminal mischief, and overloading animals in connection with the August 22nd incident, which the owners of Adams Farm said left several petting zoo animals shaken and skittish. 3 of the underage teens are Wyckoff boys, and the others are 3 girls from Oradell, New Jersey, Lieutenant Joseph Soto said. All will have their cases handled by a judge in the family part of the Superior Court behind the closed doors in Hackensack. Soto didn't identify the adult who is charged criminally and must go before a municipal court judge. Daily Voice has emailed the department a request for his name. The charges were filed against him and delinquency complaints signed against the other teens following an investigation by Detective Sergeants Michael Rigucci and Kevin Kasak, the lieutenant said. Both the adult and the juveniles face fines and possible community service. Jimmy Abma caught the group abusing animals and trying to steal tables, chairs, and other items from behind his family's Wyckoff farm around 11:30 p.m. August 22nd. They also opened several gates to the petting zoo, he said. So, and look, I live like not even like 5 minutes from that farm, and I have so many great memories of that farm. Going when I was younger, feeding the goats and the donkeys, and you know, birthday parties, and it's just it's terrible what happened there.
Yeah, I think we could all agree from the start of this. This is like none of us approve of this in any way. The fact that they abused animals, like that's like I can't. When people do that, that destroys me.
There are many words that I would like to use, but I cannot say on air to describe these people. Like,
I just
come
wish
on.
one of like the donkey or something hit him with that good like both
Get him with
back
some
legs
sweet chin music.
Yeah.
played sweet shin music on him with that with the back hooves just bang. you
There's
know,
something
like-
to say when people are
You
like
wouldn't
this
do it
about
again.
animals.
Mhm.
Because like I know just yesterday we're dog sitting for our neighbor, her dog Sam. I accidentally stepped on his paw. Like it was not even my fault. I wasn't looking to step on his paw.
Go directly
like-
to jail. Do not pass go. Do not click.
Exactly. I felt like the worst human being for making an honest mistake because he decided to try to run through my legs while I was walking around and putting his water bowl down. And like I can't imagine people willingly doing that to an animal.
No,
when
it's
I-
wild.
No, I know. And what I think I remember from this story, because I think, so this was on the Tuesday buzz, but I was contributing that day that you guys talked about this story of Philippe and Tara. And I was more annoyed at the fact that they were so dumb and posted it on social media.
Did you see the
Yeah.
picture?
You
Yeah.
can't make it up. You
And
can't
I was
make it up.
disgusted because they were like, "Oh, we posted it online." Like, you are so dumb. First of all, everybody that you've ever associated with is gonna see that. Then,
With
like,
your
the police,
face and
you're
name,
giving
yeah.
like the police or anybody that's like investigating it, like just the evidence that they could do this for you.
Right.
So that's why they got
Yeah.
busted.
like
Did they
like
think
try to
nothing was
deny
gonna
it. Here's a
happen?
video of you actively doing it. I'm sorry, Sabrina. What were you saying?
It's Leslie. Leslie.
That was
Oh,
Leslie.
yeah.
Something. I'm sorry.
They look
There's a lot of people.
pretty much the same on Zoom. I mean, but
Yeah,
I was just
exactly the
saying, like,
same.
did you think no one would, like, they wouldn't get caught? Like, it wasn't an important enough deal that they could just post it on social media? Because, like, I can only imagine that they would post about it thinking nothing would happen.
You know, I bet these kids were the same kids in high school who like sat there in the classroom and made fun of the teacher while she was teaching and thought it was funny. Like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
seems like that
Same
group of
energy.
kids.
Also,
Yeah.
like, also, like, hot take, those kids still actually exist in college because I've had multiple
true.
people in a Zoom class now leave their mic on and then complain about the professor, and I'm like, you guys are
Are
so
you for real?
dumb.
They're
Not
always
even
gonna
joking
exist.
you.
Rude, you're dumb.
Some people just
No,
don't
that's
grow up.
being
Some
to
people
mature.
are just
mean.
dumb
They
and they
know
don't
what
these-
they're
mature.
These are the people that peak like their senior year of high school, and that's kind of the attitude they take.
They were like the star
throughout their
football
life.
player, cheerleaders, and they like peaked.
I
Like-
never
and they're-
trust anybody
or
who
just
says
like
high
the
school is the best
popular
time.
kids, you know.
Like
Yeah, I never trust anyone who says high school is the best time of their life.
It
Like,
Oh,
look,
I hated high
High
school.
school was
Say-
the worst.
like
It was.
I'll never act like, you know, that I haven't been stupid in my own life. I've done plenty of stupid things throughout my life. We all
And I've
have.
seen it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you've seen it. I mean, Tara and I went to high school, went to that absolute garbage dump of a high school we went to, and we've seen each other grow
We've done
up
some
and-
things.
and
This is why we have to stay friends, because if we didn't, we would blackmail each other into like the ground in like 5 seconds.
You would be like in a villa in Italy, and I'll be like in a small farm in Portugal.
In a villa in Italy.
I get like a letter saying, you know what you did that night at Dunkin' Donuts, and it's really just us walking through the drive-through.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Getting
mean,
a
I've,
blended
I've seen you
spoon.
like try to square dance through a mosh pit. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of, oh my gosh, you know what's funny, Tara? I remember you were talking about how you don't go to festivals anymore because you lost your shoe when you were watching Jimmy Eat World or something.
No, I didn't. That's not me.
I vividly remember.
I
you
saw
saying that
Jimmy
you
Eat
don't-
World. I had nothing. My shoes stayed alive and well. I did.
Oh,
It might have
It was
been one of
the-
our
it was
friends that lost
Jersey-
his shoe though.
Yeah, somebody else might have.
Because I know Mike, our friend Mike, was basically taken up into the sky and crowd surfed out.
Yeah, I never
That's
have that
awesome.
problem.
especially when you're like sitting near the front or standing at the front of a festival
God.
or like the guardrail.
I did get kicked in the head one time. That was fun.
Oh yeah, I've
By a guy wearing a
guy
banana
in
suit.
a banana suit. Yes, I caught him too. Oh my god. Okay, so the banana suit guy is gonna get a morning buzz special later. We're gonna talk.
Yeah, but
Okay.
back to the it's just like I
There's not much-
genuinely don't
yeah.
understand people like that, and generally don't understand the fact that you can't grow who you are in high school. Like you can have the fun you have in high school, you can make the stupid decisions you can.
Also, I'm
Yeah.
not like a huge person for like zoos and stuff in general. Like, I mean, it's like it doesn't like bother me to the point where I'm like, you know, doing petitions and stuff. But like,
Right.
I went to a zoo a few weeks ago because I played a show at one actually, and it was I don't know if you guys have ever gone.
And
It's the-
social distance.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. It
Yeah,
was.
I saw it.
Do you know the Popcorn Zoo? That's where I played a
Oh.
show, and it's
No.
okay.
know
So
that
like the zoo is for you guys that don't know. It's like the best way to say it. It's more of like misfit animals, and I know that
Yeah.
sounds awful, but it's literally like animals that like you know some of the cats are declawed, and they like keep them because they can't like fend for themselves in the wild and stuff. So it's like a nice thing that they're doing because they're keeping these animals. But at the same time, like I felt so bad because they were in these like small, really small cages, and I really felt so bad for them. And I've always not been a fan of that kind of stuff. And like I know this is I haven't been to this one farm that these kids were at, but like I just imagine it's already a rough life as is, and then do you come in and you like try to hurt them in any way? It's not fair. And I just that's how I
Yeah.
feel about it, you know?
The only
Yeah,
one
it is.
the only one I could swear off on, like, oh hi Sam.
We
Hey,
lost
buddy.
you, Tara. Oh, there you go.
The only one I could swear off on is Turtleback because I used to work there. They're on the up and up. They used to be my job, and like it's just the fact that people would even think about doing this is out of any realm of understanding I have.
So
Yeah.
in terms of incredibly convenient appearances by my neighbor's
I was
dog,
gonna say you
It's
haven't
a dog.
we can actually talk about the next story.
I
Yes.
love him.
So
Aw.
this is a story from, let me scroll down, Good News Network. It's called It's
Yeah.
Official, Study Finds Watching Cute Animals is Good for Health. There may be a good reason why we love to watch little piglets and fluffy ducks online. Researchers at England's University of Leeds have found that seeing adorable animals actually helps to reduce stress levels in humans. And we don't need to see adorable critters in real life for them to have an impact on our sense of well-being. Partnering with Tourism Western Australia, the University of Leeds explored the physiological and psychological impact of cute animals, they put that in quotes, on students and staff at the college. According to the statement, 19 participants were asked to watch a 30-minute slideshow that included images and short video clips of a range of animals, including Australia's iconic marsupial, the quokka. Heart rates for every single participant dropped after viewing images and videos of cute animals for just 30 minutes. The average blood pressure across all participants also dropped, moving the group average within the ideal blood
blood
pressure range. So yeah, I mean, we all thought this was we all assumed this was a thing that we knew, and just animals in general are very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Like I know on a rough day, this little one always helps out.
I'm
unless you're
making
getting chased by like a bear or like a lion or something.
Yeah,
maybe not in
that's
that.
you got
not
to
Like
ideal.
a moose. Oof.
I have
Oh my
moose
god!
are
When you
horrifying.
see
My
a
sister.
snake,
Moose
when I
bites are
see a
nasty.
snake, I can't.
Yeah.
I hate
Did you
snakes
know?
so much.
Did you know mooses? They get eaten by orcas because they routinely go into the ocean.
Did you just call moose?
awesome.
Did you just come out here and say meese?
I also said mises.
Is that not the plural of moose? Meese?
No, it's just moose.
No. Philippe, you and I, we're gonna make a petition.
It's
Moosin.
moosin. It's moosin.
Plural.
That's also good too, Kyle. Thank you.
Moosin. No, but as the producer of the show, today's mascot is now officially Philippe's dog because he just slayed me. Because as Philippe started talking about the story, the dog just looked up and started licking his face, and I died.
Oh, he very much likes to lick, and I have pretty serious allergies to both dogs and cats. So if I'm around him too much, eventually my nose just starts getting stuffed up. I start sneezing and everything. But the suffering is worth it. It's like with dairy, I'm a little lactose intolerant, but I'll still eat cheese and drink milk and everything.
Dive into a bowl
I mean,
of
aren't we
queso,
kind of all
yeah.
lactose intolerant?
Yeah, we're all
Probably.
Yeah.
to a certain amount of level, whether it's lactose sensitivity to people who just genuinely cannot process lactose in general. I have a friend that she's not to the point where she should just avoid it completely, but she's still pretty seriously lactose intolerant. So she bought like a triple scoop ice cream from Carvel
Oh, that's
and then
awesome.
popped in 3.5 tablets of Lactaid because she says, I'm not going to let this keep me from enjoying my life. But yeah, she's
That's a spirit.
she's wild.
I think what this story is like that people ask, like, they see like what I follow on like socials and like Reddit and stuff and whatever, like, oh, you don't follow anything about the real world or news or any of that. Like, there's a reason, dude. It feels just like you need that escape. You need that like space,
iBleach.
even online. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Exactly.
r/iBleach is like one of the most popular subreddits on Reddit.
Goats. r/goats.
R/aw.
Oh,
Yeah.
is good. Goats is good.
And I think that's something that Tara and I did this semester in terms of handling our buzz. We tried our best to obviously inform people and use the newscast as a platform to make sure people know what's going on in the world. But at the same time, the stories we discussed, we try to really trend in stories. Doesn't necessarily always need to be feel-good stories, but stories that don't remind you, we're in quarantine. Stories that don't remind you that there's a pandemic, that there's political unrest. We want people to know, and I think we can all agree with this across the station and just in our general lives. We want people to know that there are still things going on. We want people to make sure that they're aware of what's going on, but at the same time,
you want to hear
Yeah.
something that's going on right now?
what?
What's up?
Meese. It's
We're
going
gonna get
on.
Meese trending.
I was gonna say one of my favorite stories from y'all's show has to have been the one about the porta potty that was blowing down the highway.
Oh, I had a great
Oh,
joke
yeah,
for it that I
it
can't
was-
say. I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat, but
Whoever's
That is-
beeping, I implore you to stop.
Yeah,
I
that was
also
that was the coffee machine.
Philippe and Sarah,
That's what
I
it
also
sounded
liked
like.
I also liked your toilet paper story at the beginning of the summer.
yeah.
Which one was
What
that?
happened with the toilet paper?
The toilet paper truck that like caught on fire or something.
Oh yeah. Well, that was also like when we were still talking about like panic buying and stuff at that point. So
Yeah.
it was
Mm.
doubly funny because people are like bugging out, there's no toilet paper, like,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, here it is, and it's on fire.
Wow,
Yeah.
remember when that was a thing though? Like that feels so long ago.
It
When,
feels like an
everyone was
eternity
buying-
ago,
Look,
doesn't
you look
it?
at
It
marketing
does.
campaigns now, and they're still doing like toilet paper jokes and everything. And I'm like, y'all need to understand that marketing campaigns take time and money that go into them. By the time you're done with the campaign and you have a joke in mind, that joke will be gone.
Yeah.
Is when you
Jokes
see
go-
companies putting out these memes that are stale already because
Oh,
memes
it's
have
the
like a
worst.
2-month time span at this point.
Memes have like the same like shelf life as milk. Like
feel
they
like
go
milk
bad.
lasts longer.
They go
Yeah,
bad.
I was gonna say maybe milk that you left out on the counter overnight.
Yeah,
So,
room temperature milk.
I don't know how we drifted to this because we were talking about animals and then we just
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, really.
But I have something to add to bring back the conversation to animals. That's very
Alright, do it
COVID
up.
relevant, and I'm gonna
Say.
share. I'm gonna share my screen. I think it's just
Good.
really funny.
Kill me. Please
I
let
don't
it
know if
be
you guys have. I don't know if you guys have.
Oh,
seen
I've seen this.
No, I haven't.
It's,
Yes. Come
for-
on, Swan.
So for those of you
Yes!
who are not
Oh my God.
looking, the swan. So there's a woman unintelligently not wearing her face mask.
Let's go
She's
back.
got
You
the
know.
chin strap on.
Yeah, she's got the chin strap going. She is looking at this little that's a swan, right? Not a
It's a
goose. Yeah,
swan,
looking
yeah.
at the swan. The swan is just like put the mask on, reaches over, like grabs her by the face and pulls the mask up.
Can we?
Wow.
This is the animals showing how they really feel.
Yeah.
They want you to wear. They apparently
We should
want you to
put
wear
these
a mask.
swans everywhere.
But they also just don't want you near them that close.
Let's
bro.
bring
Right.
swans on campus. Like,
Yeah,
please?
let's
Can,
put
can
them
we
in
also?
put them in stores like Walmart and like
Yeah.
places that like people forget to wear or choose not to wear masks.
Put them in Whole Foods where all the Karens shop.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
that's
Whole
too
Foods,
real.
Whole Foods has come through over.
I've noticed also that as the video ended, that absolute genius then took the mask off, and I'm just like, why? Just keep it on.
No.
It's not that
like,
bad.
didn't
He
you
literally
learn
pulls
from
the mask
goose,
back
the
down.
swan?
I don't get it.
Real mask off
But
moment.
before we got to that video, you guys were talking about your experiences with some of your best stories over like quarantine and stuff. Another good story that you guys had was the delivery guy.
Oh, the guy getting stalked by delivery drivers.
How many years
not
was it?
delivery drivers. 10 years.
Tell
There's
the
a
listen-
man.
Tell the
Getting,
listeners, yeah, that don't know the story.
For those of you that missed this, I pity you because it was awesome. And it was this guy, it was like Denmark or something, where he was getting phantom food delivery orders for like a solid decade. Like he's
Never
not
ordered them.
ordering food and
Incredible.
pizzas and stuff, not just from one place, from different places in the area are showing up at his door.
But like it
Did
happened
he have
for
the
like
same
10
address
years.
as someone else?
10
and, like, someone
years.
kept accidentally buying him food. Like,
But like also wasn't it like it wasn't just like one thing every time? It was
No.
like 10 boxes of pizza. Like
It depended on the day. Some days it'd be like one or two things. Other days it'd be like 10, 15 things. And he had a friend who lived nearby. I don't remember how far, maybe a town over, that had the same problem. And the police genuinely were investigating this and trying to figure out what was going
but,
on.
like,
They haven't
That's
why
found
awesome,
are they
though.
investigating this? I'd be like, thank you.
Well,
Right?
the
I
well, they
wouldn't
can't give you the
complain
food
for,
because
like,
you didn't
free
pay for it.
food. You're not paying for it. It's a win-win for you. Like, what do you have to?
all right.
complain about
Let's
it
take
for?
let's take a poll right now. Would you take the food if it kept getting delivered to your house?
no.
Yeah.
If I had to pay
Amanda,
for it,
come on.
No,
Probably
that's
not.
like slipping like arsenic or something.
Yeah, I know.
or
Like
laxatives.
You
Putting
know,
razor
we
blades
almost
in your
did
ass
that
you
to
is
have to
like
live
a
on
Halloween.
edge. You only live once.
No.
Little
I don't want
YOLO.
pizza to be my
Here-
death.
Yeah,
really
I-
don't.
Maybe
Here's
it
the- no, no,
depends
no.
what
But
type
here's
of
here,
food.
on the other hand, Philippe, if somebody sends me just like a giant like chicken bacon ranch pizza and that's what kills me, I'll die happy. Like,
yeah, right.
True.
are you kidding me?
True.
That'd be awesome.
hmm
I don't know.
That's
like,
buy
I would
nachos.
not.
Put
I
it
feel
on
like
my
if it-
tombstone.
if it,
Like,
like,
I'd be totally fine with it.
if it like kept happening, maybe because I'm like, did they really poison like all of this? Like
You know,
yeah,
some
they're like,
people are
wouldn't you be
persistent.
dead already if they were poisoning the food.
And
You
for
know?
10 years.
With
Like,
iocane powder.
Like after
and
10
you
years,
spend
you,
your
like, don't you
lifetime
realize
building
like
up a
okay,
resistance.
they're just not gonna poison it by now. There's
It's
no
the
point.
it's the team rocket of assassination plots. It never works.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
That's
what did
awesome.
you mention? Tara, iocane powder. You just eat a little bit.
They're building up resistance to iocane powder, and you build a resistance over a lifetime, and that's if you ever, go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line, you're prepared.
wait, I need to read what our contributor Kyle just said. I love
I'm livid.
they were poisoning the pizza with pineapple. Ah,
Incorrect. They
I-
were blessing
Okay,
it.
Kyle,
I
you
think
just
that-
lost.
I'm
I
gonna
think
make.
That was good, Kyle.
that was
Good.
really good. I think that is very accurate. I think there's no need for pineapple to be on pizza.
I agree with you there, Amanda.
I'm gonna make
See,
a
Sabrina, we're back.
categorical
We're
statement.
back.
All right,
Know
can
some
everybody who hates pineapple on pizza please raise your hand real quick so I know who to kick from the Zoom call. All right, so that's
Okay, look, I don't
Amanda.
hate it, but
Gladly.
the thing is,
Yes,
if you like pineapple
emails.
on pizza, just do what you want to do. I can't tell you, how to live your
That's
life.
fair.
It's your
You're
thing.
mixing like fruit with like.
Yeah,
No,
like with
like-
like.
Have you not heard of
No.
sweet and sour chicken? Have you not heard of the
Thank
concept
you.
of sweet and sour?
No, but
Like,
like,
it works.
it's like
But it's
fruit
no, it's
should-
like
fruit
sweet
should
and
stay with like
sauce and
fruit.
tomato
Like
sauce.
no, like it's.
Are you
it's
are you
weird.
segregating food now?
Wow.
Panda.
Sure.
That
No, but I mean, like that's so weird. I don't know.
Amanda's
It
just getting
doesn't
hit
work.
by
an
all of us
inclusive
today.
And then when it's
radio
like
station.
ham
Amanda.
I
on
feel like I'm being
too.
like outed at the show today, like too much.
You've outed yourself way too many times, Amanda.
Yeah, I will say, you can't just put pineapple on pizza by itself because I feel like that's too much sweetness. You need
Yeah,
to,
but you could absolutely put pizza on a pineapple.
yes,
Yeah.
you need to
Wait.
balance it out. There needs to be a little something savory to go with it, whether it's like
Ham.
ham, maybe a little bit of Italian sausage and
No,
stuff
that
like
makes
that.
it worse. That
What's
makes it
your
weirder.
what's your
Those
guys' favorite kind of
haters.
pizza?
The edible kind that doesn't kill me.
Yeah.
No poison. No.
Me
Over 10 years.
The
Can I-
kind it's
Fine.
if you ever it's this place in Seattle, and I can never. I said if I had the money to, I would pick it up and lift it and take it home with me, like like a crazy rich person. Like I'm buying the pizza place. There's a place in Seattle. I forget what it's called. Sizzle something. But they're a pizza place and they have like multiple vegan options, like not
Mhm.
just like, oh, we have one with fake cheese. Like they have different ways of like making vegan pizza.
Like the cauliflower pizza.
No,
like,
but
what
like different like I don't know if they do that or not. Different like
Sizzle pie?
cheese substitute. Yes, yeah, sizzle pie, and it's also all 80s metal themed.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
awesome.
Okay.
And like if you want extra sauce, you could get a sauce pentagram.
Tara,
love that.
when were you last there in Seattle?
It's like, oh my god, it's like years ago. It's like I think 2 years now. or at least-
Apparently it closed.
no, it
All
didn't.
right. Okay. Sorry. I lost. I just
Oh.
like Caitlin. I liked your first comment, and then I just lost respect for you because you just said Domino's, and I like.
Wow.
So like listen to this pizza that she likes. Like I never get Domino's, so she
Because
said she likes bacon, mushroom, and spinach pizza with
Ac-
extra cheese from Domino's. That sounds pretty
Actually-
good.
Yeah, actually, bacon. I was gonna say bacon and spinach from like a fast food pizza place is actually really good.
look, okay, here's the thing. Being that I'm
George,
from
you go. Then
Jersey-
I got George.
Yeah.
You go. Go.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, man. I want to hear
No,
it.
the thing is, being that we're all from Jersey, being that I'm from Jersey, I can't bring myself to go to a Domino's because the better pizza I'll always get is from your local pizzeria.
Exactly. That's what I
Factual
mean. It's the
truth.
same thing with bagels too. You're not gonna get any like good bagels like if you leave the state.
Facts.
Unless New
Facts.
Jersey or New York. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. New Jersey and New York has the best pizza and bagels. I literally went to school in Pennsylvania for like 2 years. I would refuse to eat carbs there because they were just so bad.
Right.
I want to say
Domino's-
something.
Go ahead.
Go, no, you want to talk first, Terry.
Yeah.
It's your-
Domino's is in a category which I refer to as emergency food.
No, that's I think Domino's is like 2 a.m. in the morning type of food.
Yeah.
We're like-
Emergency food.
Yeah.
There's times it's a time and place thing.
Hey,
with
actually-
Domino's.
Yes.
I was actually
It's
just
like-
reminded of.
No.
I was actually just reminded of a story. One time I was traveling to Ohio because I was going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
And so I came in late on a Friday night and me and my dad both wanted food and we're like, what are we going to get? So we ordered like pizza, but we thought it was going to be like decent, but obviously we're in Ohio. It's not going to be decent. So we ordered it. It was literally worse than Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh my
I-
god.
We
Yikes.
literally like I remember we had it in the box and we just shoved the box into the drawer and we just left it and I don't know like
Wait, in the hotel room?
That's how shameful you felt for ordering that
And, like,
pizza.
That's
Amanda-
I didn't get it
worst
out of
part
my
was-
sight.
And the worst
know-
part was nothing was open. We got like we arrived from like it was like we took a flight in like a late flight and it was like maybe 10:30 and nothing was like open. So we were like, oh, this is so bad. Like what do? We just like shoved it in the drawer.
Amanda, and the
Kenny,
thing
you're on
is, like,
thin ice again.
When the cleaning people come in to clean your rooms, I doubt they open up the drawers too and looked in there. So the
What if
person who probably stayed in there
Wait,
next
wait,
probably
what if
found
it's
it.
what if it's still there?
Still there?
I will
Almost.
say, categorically, Chicago, step your pizza game up. That's not a pizza; it's a casserole.
Thank you. Somebody who agrees.
I mean, Chicago's got a laundry
Like,
list
they
of things
put
they
the
need to
sauce-
push up a little
pizza.
bit.
they put the sauce on
Ryan, your
top
Jersey
of the
show.
cheese.
Ryan, New Jersey show. They put the sauce
They
on
put
top
the
of the
sauce
cheese.
on top of the cheese,
Hey.
and I don't get it. That's a
Like-
casserole.
It's
I
like
don't
half my
mind
family right there.
trying it. I don't mind eating it and seeing if it's actually tasting good or not. Don't call it pizza.
Yeah, it's delicious, but it's not pizza.
It's like a lasagna that went very, very wrong
That
at some
went
point down the
rogue.
road.
Yeah.
All right.
Lasagna that went rogue.
Chicago
really-
style pizza is like a bunch of Italians went to Chicago, got drunk, and broke into a restaurant and made it. Like
Here's
that's
the
my
thing,
that's my
right?
theory. On
Here's the thing
Chicago's
about pizza in like actually Italy, right? Is that it's not like a big deal there, like, and it never was. It's just kind of like it was like the thing you made when you were cooking something else, and like you had some dough left over and some
Yeah.
sauce. That's why it's literally just like things on top of each other. Like, so most of the places, once you're out of the cities and stuff, when you go like into like regular Italy outside of metropolitan Italy,
Mm.
like it's not a big deal. It's not like, you know, it's kind of an Italian American thing.
Mhm.
It's not
It's like Chinese food here.
right, very that. It kind of it's like a different, like, it's not directly from Italy.
It's just like
kinda-
Americanized. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
we should move on to the.
yeah,
next
I was gonna
story,
say we
but-
drifted
Yeah.
so far.
Well, before we
All
do,
the-
I need to announce some very sad news. Apparently, my dad does not like pineapple on pizza, which breaks my heart.
Yes.
I'm sorry for your loss,
yes.
Ryan.
I'm for new parents, am I right?
Ryan's
Excuse
dad.
me, you've been alive for like 22 years and you didn't know your dad.
I
didn't
might have
like-
known it, and I might have just like repressed it.
Repressed
You
it,
know,
son.
it's too traumatizing for me. I
Time
might
for
wake up
some new
tomorrow
parents,
and
am I right?
forget it. Yeah, I know.
So
Wow.
Or
After
time
all this
for a new
food talk,
son.
after
Now
all
I'm
this,
hungry.
You know what
Don't
comes
do it,
after
please,
eating?
please
Chloe?
No, wait. I have a better segue.
Don't
I have a
do that.
I have a better segue. So, Philippe, you talked about being trapped into a bathroom.
now imagine being trapped in a bathroom in space.
Yeah.
Ultimate variant on that.
Who wants to handle this one? 'Cause I did
Philippe,
the last time.
Philippe, I think you should though.
Me?
Like,
Okay.
honestly.
You got executive
Because
rights on
you
this one.
have the experience of being trapped in
Yeah, I
a
have the experience. I have the training. The potty training. Anyways, NASA tested
are
new
you
$23
flexing
million
right now?
dollar.
Are you flexing like, yeah, ladies, I'm potty trained.
I bet Oriana would love
I
to hear
come
that.
complete, baby.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Does
I'm gonna show Oriana this later,
Does it
and
say-
she's
does it
gonna
say-
laugh at both you and me.
Does it say it on like your Tinder profile? You're actually potty trained.
Yeah.
I mean, so I never did. I did. What was the one? 23andMe or the no? 23andMe is the chromosomes.
Yeah,
the other. I did a dating profile at one point. It didn't work
Yeah.
out. I ended up just meeting my current girlfriend literally through going to a friend's New Year's Eve party, and
Yeah.
then my friend be like, "Hey, can I
Can't
give her your
snap,
phone
but
number?"
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm just like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So, but
We could do the dating episode another day. because
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
all have, like,
we'll
But
do it.
we gotta talk
We'll
about
do that.
$23 million.
We gotta do. We'll do the dating buzz one day, and
Yeah.
we'll
Do the
there you
dating
go.
buzz.
We'll
Valentine's
share our
Day.
stories.
Valentine's
Amanda,
Day,
we can
yes,
do
that's
that.
perfect.
What?
Oh.
We should do
idea.
a super Valentine's Day buzz.
Oh,
I'd be 1000%
no,
here
The
for
no.
dating
that.
game
I'll
Valentine's Day
come-
Yeah.
thing with
Yeah.
But
Austin
wait,
Rez
I
and
think-
Melissa
Oh, yeah.
Cheeseman.
I think Valentine's Day is on a Sunday this year, though.
Is it?
Well,
coming
the,
up.
we, now
Yeah,
we
'cause
have
it was a
what,
leap
the
year, 'cause it was
weekend
Friday.
buzz?
Well,
Oh. It's a Sunday though.
Ooh.
It's
Oh,
suspect.
come on,
That
guys.
is-
What, you
is
don't
that
want
an
to get up
on-air
at like
teaser?
5:30 in the morning?
All right. Anyway,
Talk about
we'll come
So-
back to the whole dating thing. But
So a
anyway,
$23 million toilet, am I right?
Yeah, $23 million down the tubes.
Let's say, guys,
But,
how much would you pay for a
free
toilet, though? I mean,
throws.
$23 million. That's
Just hitting the rim
Why
every
do that when
time.
you could just go in the woods? Like, there's
But-
no.
Why don't you just
Leave-
open the
leave.
window and lay in the space station and just
Unseal the
Yeah.
unseal your
Airlock?
let
suit.
suction do its job, you know?
But NASA's first new space potty in decades. Space God, $23 million titanium toilet better suited for women. Whoa, is getting
Oh,
a not so
equality
dry
win.
run at the International Space Station before eventually flying to the moon. It's packed inside a cargo ship set to blast off late Thursday from Wallops Island, Virginia. Barely 100 pounds, 45 kilograms, and just 28 inches, 71 centimeters tall. It's roughly half as big as two Russian-built toilets at the space station. It's more camper-sized to fit NASA's Orion's capsules that will carry astronauts to the moon in a few years. Station residents will test it out for a few months. If the shakedown goes well, oh God, the toilet will be open for regular business. Jesus Christ.
This is the best story ever.
With SpaceX now launching astronauts to the space station and Boeing less than a year from sending up its first crew, more toilets are needed. The new one will be in its own stall alongside the old one on the U.S. side of the outpost. The old toilets cater more towards men to better accommodate women. NASA tilted the seat on the new toilet and made it taller. The new shape would help astronauts position themselves better for number 2. And Johnson Space Center's Melissa McKinley, the project manager, said, quote, "Cleaning up a mess is a big deal. We don't want any misses or escapes," end quote. She said, "Let's just say everything floats in weightlessness." We don't want to hear a call down to Houston or down to where does Russia operate its
I can't pronounce the name. The Cosmodrome.
the Cosmodrome. Like we don't want to hear it's like Houston, we have problem.
We have problem, Houston. In Soviet Russia, Houston doesn't have a problem. Problem has
In Soviet Russia,
yeah,
bowel
there you
moves you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look. Here's my thing, right?
Yeah.
So.
Oh no.
I got. Well, here's my first question, right? Like,
I think you got to strap yourself down.
I'm you know, like I'm a trans woman. I'm AMAB, like, so am I missing something about womanhood where we use different toilets? Is there something I'm missing? Like, I don't, like, I thought I was like, I was confident in my gender identity, but now, like, have I been doing something wrong?
Have I been using the wrong toilets?
Yeah, they're using the wrong toilet. Do we need, like, what does that mean? Are you saying, like,
the girls
women
got to
don't
jump
sit
in here because I
normally
got
on
nothing.
toilets?
I'm confused.
I don't
I'm
get
just
it.
confused
I
as
don't
you
even
are.
know either.
Like, what does that mean?
I thought they were the same.
Are like the
No.
seats more like cushiony and comfy? Because like
Are they
I don't-
pink?
I don't know.
I like a
Smell
cushion
better.
seat.
There's
I mean,
more.
I think there's
wrong
more
with
just
that?
like a comfort.
There's
think,
another
yeah.
paragraph here explaining it having to
there?
do
All right,
with
then explain it.
funnels. Well,
What?
so as for
I-
number 1, the funnels
is
have also been
great.
redesigned. Women can use the elongated, scooped-out funnels to number 1 while sitting on the commode to number 2 at the same time. McKinley said, "Until now, it's been one or the other for." Oh, okay. So beforehand, you have to do one or the other. Now with the new design toilet for women, you can do both. So it's all about what you're packing down there in terms of what makes the toilet easier to use or not.
Multitasking
like,
in every aspect of life.
I'm just very.
It's a confusing story.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
like
Very
like
Yeah.
I don't even
You know
think
what
I
the
could
best
come up
part
with
of
a
this
pun.
is, though? I
What?
want to just cap it with what I think the best part of this is, though, is that I guarantee you, within like 2 months, Elon Musk is going to come out with what he claims is a better, more improved, privatized version of the $23 million toilet
Yeah.
that SpaceX is
know
going
it.
to use.
It's gonna cost $100
It's gonna
million.
have the Tesla logo on
It's
it.
gonna have the Tesla
It's gonna be-
logo.
it's gonna be a
It's
smart
tested by
toilet.
nobody.
Okay, but like
When it
um,
malfunctions, it's gonna fire back the refuse at you.
Yeah.
But I have a question for all you guys. Do you guys?
Thank you,
do you
Kenny.
guys? Yeah, I was just gonna say that too. We can't say that on air, but yes. Anyways,
A lot of jokes. are being made.
would you guys be comfortable paying $23 million for a toilet?
Okay, wait,
I wouldn't pay
first
$23
off,
million
who has
for a house.
$23
I
million
could afford it.
Amanda,
Comfortable?
if you have $23 million, why would you waste your money?
Exactly.
On
I feel like
something
that's
you could
something
do for
everyone's
free.
favorite president would be down with, using, but not me.
That golden
man.
Just
toilet.
throwing that out there.
And
Not
that
even for
is
the
we.
whole
You're right,
house
it's not
would I
a
pay
solid
that
gold
much.
toilet, so maybe
That's when we move on.
not.
Yo,
All right, I think
let's
it's
flush
time.
this story away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't have to do
it's
a potty shots.
Time to move on. I
Is
saw
that a
that.
dab, Tara?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was a terrible one.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Terrible one.
Ah.
Ooh,
an
come
awesome
on,
joke
come through
here.
puns.
Oh, by the way, look at the time right now.
I know.
Yeah, would
now
you
that
say it's top of the hour on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair?
I would. What do you have to say about that, Ryan? Nothing.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Moving on.
Yeah.
Next. Moving right along.
I had something, and you just broke my brain for like a solid.
I'm
5.5
sorry.
We have a
seconds.
story that's
It's
this
the 23.
big.
It's how we managed to tie in a $23 million toilet, space, gender relations, and Elon Musk into one story.
That's
Yeah.
how good the buzz is across
true.
every day
Yeah,
of the week.
CNN won't
This
do
is-
that. Fox News won't do that.
The buzz, though.
Buzz.
We got you.
We got
This
you
is going to be the
covered.
last story that we have here. Before
Ooh,
we
this is a fun
have
one.
This one's a
some,
wash. This one's a wash.
fun pre-recorded content put together by our team.
So
Our team beat Kenny.
Yeah, our
Yeah,
team-
specifically
team being
Kenny.
shout out to Kenny, who is on the back end right now, that put together an amazing compilation of some interviews from the quarantine for College Radio Day.
The quarantine.
He wants
5 a.m.
he wants
the
to
other night.
he wants to throw in there that he was up until 5 a.m. the other night working on it.
So
So
everyone better listen.
Yeah, we
there,
have
there you
nothing,
go.
nothing but consummate professionals here at the Morning Buzz at every
No.
level, where you're a co-host or a contributor or an editor. You know, and shout out to our editors who did put together the videos that we put out on YouTube. We have someone for every single day of the week. You know, because we don't want to have one person editing 5 videos a week. But
Yeah,
You guys are awesome.
As just like kind of a shout out, as we are at the top of the hour, or 8:01 now, but just to even just say, like, everybody here on the Buzz has been doing an amazing job, and thanks to our listeners out there that have been tuning in and watching us on Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff. You guys have been amazing. Like, so just thank you to you guys.
Unless
Yeah.
you're one of those
Aw,
people
thank you,
that's gonna come
Amanda.
at me for putting pineapple on my pizza, then you could hang up right now.
Yeah.
But we got a story coming in. This is from
Yeah.
the Tuesday Buzz. This is our one of our contributions. This is from New York Times. A tall tale about big fish leads to felonies in Utah. 2 men pled guilty to tampering to influence a contest, a third-degree felony, almost 2 years after the state started investigating where they caught their fish. Every year, the calm waters of Lake Powell, teeming with bass, catfish, and walleye in southern Utah, draw dozens of anglers who try their hand at fishing contests and award thousands of dollars in prize money. But for almost 2 years, scandal has disturbed the peace. In October 2018, and I can't stress this enough, 2 years ago, at least 2 suspicious fish caught the attention of the local state, leading to a lengthy investigation, analysis by a university lab, and finally, felony charges brought against the 2 fishermen accused of trying to cheat their way to first place.
Yeah, so these fishermen made more than. These are 2 fishermen. Like, these prizes are ridiculous. There's a quote from a professional fisherman named Ron Colby. He said, quote, "When something like this happens, it angers a lot of people," end quote. I almost said it anglers a lot of people. But he made more than $100,000 over 20 years of tournaments. That's impressive,
lot of
to say
money.
the least.
But
You
like,
know?
well, my favorite thing is they're like, these fish aren't from, did he like sneak the different fish in up his sleeves and then like was aggressively throwing dead fish into the water?
I mean, I
how did you
assume they
pull
have
this
to be
off?
alive.
Like, how did you pull this off?
Like, I'm
It's, like,
trying to.
better than the Ryan Lochte thing. This is awesome.
Wait, I don't know if I misheard this, but did you guys say there was charges against the fish?
No, against the people.
Okay, I thought you said at one point there were charges against the fish, and that's when I
like that
started
story,
dying.
I
was
did
like,
have a
that is
roommate.
So funny.
I did have a roommate who was on like a blackfish kick, and she was confused as to why when people died from accidents at like SeaWorld involving orcas, while it was labeled as an accident, and all I could say to her was like, "Are they going to
Gonna
charge
press
the orca
charges
with
on them.
murder?
Yeah.
Is Shamu going to
Yeah.
jail for homicide?"
Hmm.
But
This is what's funny about this is that like this person like this went on for 2 years. Like the legal system in Utah was occupied by fish.
And full credit to the biologists who worked on this, because the reason why the officials noted it is they said, quote, one, they were shaped differently, indicated they probably had a different diet, and then they also had some markers of stress, end quote.
Yeah, they also had giant bullet holes in them from where he shot them. He didn't want to catch them either, so he just pulled out a 9 and just boom,
Like it's
and just threw the fish bodies into the water.
there's like craziness to this, because there's so much science that goes into what you can learn about an animal based on where they live. Like my girlfriend's a marine biologist. She's finishing up her graduate school, and the kind of information they can get just from studying some of their habits, their diets, what they look like, where they are, like they can tell you exactly where a fish can come from just from these things that I mentioned, like the shape of their bodies, how they eat, the
that's
stress
crazy.
that's on their bodies. So like the fact that these biologists were able to be kind of like, go down there. They ended up, the Wildlife Agency eventually learned that the men had been fishing at Quail Creek Reservoir about 180 miles west just before the tournament. And literally they studied it based on what the article says, the level of isotopes in the otolith scale of the fish.
That is far too many syllables for me
I'll
to
say
comprehend.
this though. I thought this story, yes. And I also thought this story was super goofy until I saw the amount of money involved.
Yeah, they
Then I
pleaded-
kind of got it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
pleaded guilty to all 3 counts. They were ordered to pay a $500 plea and abeyance fee, whatever that is, complete 48 hours of community service, and pay back $2,500 in restitution to the Wildlife Division's Help Stop Poaching Fund. The men were also sentenced to 24 months probation, which they are prohibited from hunting.
And then the cops come in and just break their fishing rods in half, like.
It reminds me of there's like a game warden. I forget in which state, but he would literally dress up in scuba gear and like catch the fish, like the actual angle that the poachers would be going through, and he'd let them pull them in, and then he'd pop out and stare at them and be like, he pulls out like a warrant in a plastic bag. This is genuinely something that he would do, and then he would confiscate them and write them up, and like it's just amazing what people will do. But
I did want to mention too, which is just really like kind of on topic, but not. Why is it that anytime Philippe and Tara are involved in a show, that our shows are always food and animal related? I'm telling you, it's like
it's on brand. You got a brand.
It's toilets. Yes,
Well, that's
like it's
great,
like that was
though.
literally the whole show today, and you also managed to do it every other week.
Exactly.
So it's so funny.
It's awesome.
Toilets, food, gender politics, and
Dave
Rock and
Grohl.
roll.
Sometimes music,
Rock and
yeah.
roll.
Sometimes
There
music,
was a solid 3 or 4 weeks where we had a Dave Grohl story every
yeah,
single
because of you two. It was like getting the weekly Foo Fighters update. Like we're doing a Foo Fighters recap show now.
It's
on the
Dave Hour.
podcast.
We should do
Dave
like
Hour.
we should do like like a Foo Fighters segment on the Buzz. That's it. They're gonna just do
Your 5 minutes of Foo.
5 minutes of Foo. I love
Me
that.
and Philippe do it every week. Yes.
And Tara goes and like makes herself coffee or something. While you
Yeah.
guys do that.
But
and you're just like, I'll be back.
Yeah, well, you guys got this.
But anyway, I think Ryan, it's time for our pre-recorded segment. Is that correct?
Yes, Amanda, it is. So before we jump into an interview, a live interview later with a very special College Radio Day guest, I would like to personally have Kenny, if you're able to, could you turn your camera on real quick and come in here? So as we mentioned earlier, Kenny Horn, one of our kind of background contributors, he's also one of the news contributors for, I believe, Friday, yeah, for today's show. So Kenny has been working tirelessly. We kind of handed him this project, and he basically put together a supercut of pretty much every interview, or almost every interview we've had since the beginning of the pandemic, since we started doing everything through Zoom. And one thing that we've been mentioning throughout all of these interviews is we've been asking the people we're interviewing, can you say something positive about this pandemic?
I know,
What
there's been a
what good
lot
has come out of it?
Sorry, Ryan, I cut you off.
No,
There's
go ahead.
There's been a lot of obviously negative in the news and stuff, especially because there's been a lot of like this hard stuff, COVID. There's people dying, there's people getting sick, there's a lot of things that are happening in our society currently. And a lot of industry professionals and a lot of people that are working still during COVID had a lot to say on the positive side, though, because we look at any situation in life, there's always a positive. No matter which way we look at it, there's always one. So that was something that we really kept continuously asking our guests during quarantine. And I think it's a great message for especially College Radio Day, is this positive news, positive things happening in our world.
Yeah. So Kenny, thank you so much. It was awesome. It's awesome having you on the Buzz and awesome having you on the crew. And frankly, this would not necessarily have been possible without you, because the other contributor, she sadly had like an accident happen, and you were literally able to just come in and take over. So
yeah, and like also because we don't
Props,
have the
dude.
best editing skills, we're so thankful to have
oh
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't edit anything. So seriously, thank you so much. And thanks to everybody else who has been working in the background. We're going to play this. And of course, stay tuned. When we come back, we will be having a very special interview. Stay tuned.
A lot of people stay negative in this time. What's a way that we could definitely stay positive? Do you have some tips on just staying positive and being like making the most of the situation?
Yeah, I could say personally, when I have too much downtime, that's when my head just starts going in circles.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to not to stay busy just for the sake of staying busy, but to have those moments where you can just kind of get lost in something. So maybe you play an instrument, or you're, artistic, or maybe you're not, but just pick up a box of crayons and start doodling, do something like.
Yeah, I think it's been fun doing even, there's been virtual meetings, virtual dinners, virtual lunches, stuff like that, to kind of keep it light and fresh, because you could easily, kind of steer away and be, distant if you're not engaging in some sort of way. So I think a lot of good self-care practices have emerged from this for everyone, I would say. So I mean, even for me, I've just been doing a lot more playing music. So Amanda, we got to jam sometime soon.
Yes.
Got to get the band back together. So so that's been fun.
I wasn't always that close with my family because I'd be at school, and I might call them like once a week to once every 2 weeks, but now I see them every day. And I just was never really close to my family, I guess you could say. But I think through this, I've actually gotten closer to them because we're forced to be together, unlike before college.
But an unanticipated consequence of COVID was that almost every health system and many, many private healthcare providers had to immediately convert over to telehealth services so that they could provide care in a way that didn't, that abided by the public health principles of the viral pandemic. But what that meant also for mental health services is that many psychotherapists and psychiatrists and clinics and intensive programs have also been able to convert to a virtual mode of delivering care. And so for many of us, that means that we and our family members can get mental health services in a whole new way that wasn't even available before. And from an advocacy standpoint, at the national and state levels, we need to make sure that that does not just convert back to business as usual, because the truth is that should have happened years ago, and it was COVID that kind of spurred it on.
We do virtual meetings now on Fridays with the career services folks that I work with, and I can't wait to see their faces. I can't wait to hear their voices, and even just seeing you guys. I mean, I got a couple of kids back here. I'm tired of looking at them. They're probably tired of looking at me. So really, truly, without being too silly, it's cool to reach out, and the virtual thing isn't all that bad. And we're social creatures. We got to collaborate. We got to be cool with one another. So it's fun, and I think it's essential to reach out.
We're trying. That's our whole program is meant for that. We are a theater training program. We are we would love them to go on and be Broadway stars. But at the end of the day, I've found that the bonds forged inside of productions are unique and special. That when you've done a rehearsal and a run of a show with folks, that you build relationships that are like lasting. They're lasting, and they last beyond childhood. They go, I'm still friends with my children's theater folks that I did youth theater when I was young. So it's we're hoping to not only provide some good training, but also create that community. And have that place that safe space where they can be themselves and they can express themselves artistically and have fun and create friendships and maybe learn a couple of interview skills if nothing else. Learn how to. What I say is, if they leave a little bit more themselves than when they walked in, then I've done my job.
With their own lived experience of mental health experiences, say that for the first time, it's like their internal world has been externalized, and they actually feel validated and feel more understood than ever before. So that is important.
It's the old lemon to lemonade theory, where you for us as a restaurant, we had to innovate. It actually helped us because we were innovating and giving our customers options, giving them at a lower price point, because we all certainly understand a lot of people out of work, a lot of people are struggling. So how do we help them within our model? How do we recreate and innovate to be able to supply people? Listen, we had to let go of a ton of people, but we also told them, listen, you need food, we're here, we'll give you.
Even when I was in high school, I was able to go out with my friends. I had football after school. I was lifting after school. So it forces you to be with your family, and yeah, they drive me crazy a lot, but they also do a lot of good things for me too. So it's nice. I definitely appreciate that aspect, that I'm getting closer to my family through all this.
I work with my vendors to get free food for them. So I'm not talking about boxes, I'm talking about cases and pallets. Literally, a company called Cisco, who is one of our bigger suppliers, they backloaded a truck and brought it. And I was like, well, I just need a couple things. They're like, well, you got everything now. So what I did was I called all the restaurants locally, and I said, listen, I got all this stuff. There's no way I could use it or store it. Can I bring a pallet of food over? And they're like, what? How much? I'm like, no. Cisco gave it to me. I cannot use it all. Can I give it to you? We work with a local church who handles poverty-stricken families, and we're like, here, take this. Here's a couple of cases of that, and and it worked out because people who needed got, and my staff, obviously my staff first, but that's what we had to do.
There are a ton of online classes that you can take that are free. My mom and I just started taking the master class series that's online.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's fun, and they're doing a thing right now where you can buy, and that's a thing that you have to pay for. But we can buy one membership, you get one free, which is a nice little thing. So it's a light thing. It's not like you have this end goal in mind that you have to accomplish something. It's just a nice way to give your brain a break. And I really do want to bring this up. I'm sure we've all seen it floating around, this thing like, if you haven't accomplished this, this, and this by the time that this is over, then you didn't really want to do it in the first place. That is such a bunch of pressure to put on people. Everyone is going through just this roller coaster of emotions. So, just be kind to yourself and think of little treats that you can give to yourself, maybe you get yourself a nice little chocolate bar or something.
Another major silver lining is that we are talking about mental health. I mean, the fact that, I don't know if you all normally cover this topic, I hope you do, and it's awesome if you do. But many syndicates and major media outlets that hadn't necessarily done so in the past are doing that now as part of the pandemic coverage. And that normalizing of the topic of how we're doing with our mental health, how we're coping and thriving, that could be something that is sort of like a reset button that we take with us that could look like there's more distress because people are talking about it more. And in fact, and I believe those polls actually that it is up right now. But if we can continue talking about it and supporting each other and not kind of just put the blinders back on, that will be a big advance for the field of all of us in the mental health and suicide prevention advocacy space.
So we shifted. We started doing live music. We put together, one of my partners, Frank, put together, who handles our music for my restaurant and the Nutty Irishman, which is our other restaurant, started a thing called Feeding Farmingdale. So the idea was musicians are not working. How do we get them to work? How do we give them a stage to play on? So what we did was a live stream, Feeding Farmingdale. We still do it now. I think it's every Thursday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday. I always forget. Look on the website, 317radio.com. What we do is we have the groups come in, they play to an empty room, but they live stream, and we raise money to feed local families in Farmingdale. And it's becoming a little bit bigger. It's their part. They're doing their part. They're not getting paid for it. We're not getting paid for it. We take the money, process the food, send it out to families who need it. And it's one of those good things. It's a paid forward thing.
So, and stigma is going down. And this is another, I think, a major step of progress with that too. So we are worried. I think from a policy perspective and from a leadership perspective, there are several facets to this that do include, we need to make sure that we're supporting the most vulnerable individuals in the population when it comes to their economics, when it comes to their access to services, their access to education, all of those things, for minority and marginalized populations, this is just laying bare those disparities that existed before. And so I think, the fact that there is now an energy and a focus on this Not that there wasn't before, but it's really ramped up. Those are some real positives that could have a protective effect against these negative forces that we're talking about that COVID clearly does present.
So I said, well, we're online. We're doing this virtually. What can we do virtually? What can we do to continue our training? What can we do to continue? What I found, our young people and the parents said that we rehearse on Sundays as a recreational program, and everyone said, please don't go away. Please stay on Sundays, even if we don't know when the show is going to be, even if we don't know, let's at least have a Sunday or something that's a regular thing that our young people can do every weekend. So we continued with our Sunday rehearsals, and what we did was we transformed it into what we're calling the Broadway Arts Lab Virtual Gala Showcase of Stars.
So for me, playing a lot of video games, trying to create a YouTube channel now. Hopefully coming up with some video ideas, learn After Effects, FaceTime my girlfriend all the time, Toriana. So those kind of things. It's very simple things, but they do make me happy. So yeah, it makes me appreciate more little things in life, I guess, that I have. And I guess just gets me more excited for when things do get better. And I'll be able to really appreciate those kind of things, like going to school and seeing my friends all the time.
I tried doing before anyone else started doing it. I tried doing this virtual cooking class where you could buy the box of food, take it home, and then on Monday night, jump on a Zoom call with me, and I'll teach you how to do it. And I had
that's
one
awesome.
It would have been. I had one person pick up on it, and all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, all of a sudden, I'm seeing all these celebrity chefs do it. I'm like, get out of here! Like, it's like you can't do that. That's not cool. But it's working for them. So, it's one of those things that force us to innovate. It forced us to think outside our normal box.
I have been trying to master the electric guitar. It's a completely different than the acoustic, so that's been keeping me busy, and that's one of the ways that I can kind of get lost in things. Social media is really a positive space right now, I think, for performing artists. So that has been wonderful. I live alone, and I have literally been here since, I think, kind of mid-March. And and I'm an extroverted person. I love to be out and about and see people. And that has been a lifeline to me, just to, you do a little live stream and you feel like people are actually in your living room with you.
It's something that we are very concerned about. Like, you hear the phrase that the next wave of this epidemic could be a mental health crisis. And the truth of it is, honestly, that our nation has been in a mental health crisis for some time, as well as a suicide related public health crisis. The rate of suicide has been on the rise, and we're worried about all of that. But there are some silver linings that COVID kind of triggered.
But yeah, I've had some students, I think more students than ever, reaching out, just want to talk careers, and them leaving feeling really happy and saying that thanking me, I guess, really for sharing the resources like JobScan, and really learning more about LinkedIn, because they just had a profile but didn't know how to really dive into it. So yeah, there's been a lot of good positivity from that, and that's awesome.
It comes from a lot of it. Listen, I should be dead. What else would I do? You could sit and cry and be like, poor me. Listen, this world is all weird. It's all strange. So you find the positive stuff. You find the ways to connect with people that, have things in common or not in common with you, and you find a way to bridge that gap. This whole the world's insane. The world is I'll be 51 in August, and it's nuts. And I just look at it and I think, wow, like, we could be better than this.
Yeah, it is. The short answer, it is not good for anyone's mental health to be suddenly unemployed or even just furloughed with uncertainty about what is coming next. But again, that's not the whole story. The more full story is that the resilience in each one of us is actually enormously strong, even for those who have a tendency towards depression or anxiety or PTSD. there is a force within us that I think is just very, very innate, thankfully, towards survival and towards the need to actually socially connect. Like that's not just a sort of, you know, choice we're making during COVID. That is a very basic primal need that we have to feel supported, to feel heard, seen, and loved, and to do that for others.
One more thing that I really want to say that I think is so important with all of this is part of routine to include some sort of movement or exercise in your day. If you can, get outside. You know, I mean, fresh air is so important. Open your windows. But I really think that's an important key to all of this too. And it helps you, you know, it helps you feel like you've accomplished something during the day and takes care of you.
I would say a great example is, the virtual fair was awesome because we didn't know what to expect number-wise when we pivoted everything on there, and we ended up having close to 60 employers wanting to engage with students. There were some speed bumps and technical glitches, so we did our best to, you know, launch that and get that going. But and then in between, after then too, there's been a couple employers that have reached out to us. I know we have some opportunities even this week that they're hosting Zoom info sessions, and they're still recruiting students. So I think in a way, in a sense, all roads lead to being used to and getting comfortable with these venues of speaking through video scope.
Number one, it has allowed us to get to know our students, and our students get to know us in a way that was never possible before. I've always, you know, I live in New York City. I'm coming to you from Queens, and I've always viewed my home as my temple, as my private space. And now I have I teach dance, and our dance studios have gone virtual as well. So all of my students now have access to my home. And in some of them, you know, we run voice lessons from our bedroom, you know what I mean? So it's like we're inviting these young people into our private space, but in a way, it has allowed us to get to know one another in a way that was never possible before. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's like I've got a tap class of about 6 to 9 year olds, and so they one day were like, "Hey, what's in the background?" And so we did a full tour of the artwork of my home. They do these virtual field trips in their schools, so we did a virtual field trip of my house, and I walked them through, and I talked to them about all the artwork that we had on the walls, you know things like this, you know, we just and I make them I'll take a break and I'll make them bring their pets to the screen so we can see what dogs and cats everybody has. I know my cats walk through the camera all the time.
So those very innate human instincts that we have, like I had mentioned earlier, are finding ways to find a voice and think through strategies in a different way. So the hope is that, along with hopefully stimulating the economy in the ways that we hope will happen, and that people can find employment or get back to their jobs, get out of furlough. But for those where there is remaining unemployment and fiscal strain, that will create another layer of stressful impact for sure on the mental health of those individuals. And then again, it's just a question of whether they are able to kind of reorganize and motivate around making their mental health a priority. They might not even have those words anywhere in their vocabulary, but they might be finding ways to do that because it is now become such a part of the culture to be thinking about how to thrive and how to stay on top.
I had a similar situation last night. My internet connectivity, I live in a place where I can't get internet. It's like this one block at the end of town where, you either sign up for the, $100 a month, cable and all that nonsense, or you get a little hotspot. Well, I have a little hotspot, and last night it stopped working, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was having a panic. But then, I figured, okay, maybe I could use my phone. So I just started thinking ahead. So I think in times when we've got a lot of challenges, if you can just almost kind of plan with a contingency in mind. That way, if you get to the point where, you don't have access to something, if it's possible, then maybe you can work around it.
The way that we get out from under this is by wearing the masks, socially distancing, and washing our hands with soap. Okay, that's what knocks down this virus. Transmission and killing transmission is key, and it requires our community, all of us, to do that. Not only to protect us, but to protect your families and the greater family of the people who live in New Jersey. This is on us, and we can do it, but we have to be committed.
You know, I'm having conversations with not just the usual kind of like media, but like with male athletes, with male rappers and musicians who are telling us that under normal circumstances, they weren't even brought up or socialized to like check in on each other's mental health in any like overt way, but that is actually starting to happen sort of naturally because of the stress that everybody's under. So again, there's some shifts happening that I think are actually very, very positive, but it's a time to be actually very vigilant. I'm certainly not saying, I don't want to, paint an overly optimistic or Pollyannish perspective. It's just that we need to really ramp those positives up.
The interesting thing about this is I think whether we're adults or small children, we're all kind of dealing with the same fears and anxieties and not knowing when this is going to end and, separation from our friends and our loved ones. So I think really doing everything that you can to kind of, I don't know, it sounds cheesy, but to make your days special, to kind of celebrate the time that we have.
Yeah.
I think it's really important. And even if, I know some of you are at home and maybe you're with your family and you've been together in this house for like weeks and you're ready to go nuts. That's a different challenge than someone who's been alone for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But there are things that we can all do. I think one of the most important things for me has been getting up, and this sounds so lazy of me, but the first it was like a week and a half, I was just kind of a slug person. I'm working from home, I'm alone, and it's like, getting up and getting a shower was like a win for the day.
In some ways, I like the change in that it is made it possible for us, I think, as a society and as an American culture to believe that we don't have to be physically present in order to be present with one another. I think it's opened that up for workplaces. I think workplaces have found out that you don't have to be in the office to be equally as efficient in your job. So it's opened up some interesting avenues that I never thought it would open up.
This is World College Radio Day.
A day where college radio stations across the globe unite to celebrate the most powerful medium.
Radio is like word of mouth. It very much influences whatever's going on.
This is World College Radio Day.
And you're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, New Jersey. Welcome back to the Super Buzz on this beautiful Friday, October 2nd. We are coming towards kind of the end of the show, but before we wrap, obviously, we have a very special guest with us, Tara. You are not the special guest.
I'm Tara. Oh, man.
I hate to break it to you, but Tara, why don't you introduce?
Be the special guest.
You can be a special guest another day, Tara. I promise.
Okay.
Pinky promise, Tara.
Okay. But yeah, with us today is one of the founders of World College Radio Day, somebody who I've known for a hot minute and have worked with and been working with and been able to watch him work and help put this whole thing together. Rob Quick from William Patterson University is on the line. Hello.
Well, hello.
Today's the day, man.
Happy College Radio Day. Happy World College Radio Day. And you know what I'm missing out? Do you know what I'm missing right now? What am I missing right now? Two guesses. What am I missing right now?
Breakfast tea.
I'm missing breakfast, but where am I missing breakfast? Where am I missing it at?
The station.
Now, where do we go every year?
Where do we go? I don't remember.
Oh, come on.
Throw me under the bus like this. Where do we go
The diner.
All I remember is, right. Oh.
My trip to the diner. I
do a better one.
I would go there. It would be like bacon, eggs, hash browns, all the healthy stuff.
Yeah.
And don't have that this morning. I've got what have I got? Like a little granola bar or something? What's going on?
A dream.
But listen, congratulations, guys. Happy World College Radio Day. You guys have done phenomenally well. And you've still to come, right? Your hour for the Global Marathon is still coming?
Yeah, we were tracking part of it last night on the pre-show. It was wild being able to go through, New Zealand were the first ones where it rolled over into College Radio Day. So we had we patched New Zealand through a little bit. Then we did Australia, then we did Hong Kong. And being able to hear this thing all over the world, for people, if you don't know, there are over 600 colleges all over planet Earth involved in this thing and different radio stations. And it's from all over the world. And it's literally, we are following today's daybreak across the map, listening to different radio stations around the world pipe up, talk about what college radio means to them. And it really, it puts it in perspective in an amazing way. So I'm really glad to have you here because you've been with this thing since the get-go. You're one of the founders. So what made you want to put a name to it, have it designate a day to celebrate college radio?
Well, I just thought, because if you think about colleges and universities, we are, when we interact with each other normally, it's very competitive, like sports, football teams and stuff, and that's all good and fine. But I just was thinking, when it came to college radio, what if there was an idea that you could unite us all? And wouldn't it be nice that for one day we could unite, put aside our rivalries and unite? And when we all come together, we were quite a formidable force. And that was where the idea came from. And then I think the second year I heard from 2 universities in Indiana, I think it was, who had this bitter rivalry. And they were always like they had this almost, I don't know, it was hatred, but they had this bitter rivalry. And apparently one of the guys called me and said something happened this college radio day that you should know about, that one of us reached out to the other station and they said, hey, should we do something together for college? What are you talking about? That would be we hate you, you hate that. And apparently they came together and apparently they did a joint broadcast in person. And apparently Connor's person called me and said, Rob, you had to be there. People were kind of at the end of this broadcast, people were hugging each other and weeping openly. And it was very emotional. For that one day, they put aside their rivalry and their differences, and it was that's what we've heard. I mean, that's what it's good. We unite for the benefit of everyone. So it's been good. It's been really good. But as you said, Charles, when I listened last night to New Zealand and then Australia, and then it's gone around the world, of course, Malaysia, Philippines. It's just incredible that the whole world has been involved in this, and I always feel it's a shame that I have to go to sleep at some point, because I missed out on Sweden this morning and Norway and stuff. But it's all being recorded, so I'll get a chance to catch up. But it is a good thing, right? Let's be honest, solidarity, global solidarity rocks. Let's just be honest about it. That feeling that you get when you listen to other stations around the world, college stations, that feeling of just yes, we're all in this together. That is what we're talking about. That this feeling that we're all together, solidarity.
It's a global thing. It really is. And that was probably it seemed like such a small thing as it was happening, because we were juggling. We had 2 interviews during the pre-show last night, so we were juggling a lot of different things. But now, kind of looking back on it, that was one of probably the most powerful moments, I would say, of my college radio career, was being we're gonna listen to New Zealand opening the day, and then Australia, and literally without any exaggeration whatsoever, the entire planet in some small way is on the same page. And that's the kind of thing that you can't replicate. That's that's rare. That is a rare feeling. And I'm really glad I got to be a part of it,
It is. I mean, but it's not the whole world, because we're missing Antarctica, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McMurdo didn't come through.
We tried to McMurdo Sound, whatever it is. We tried to find. We at one point, I called Annabelle and said, "Are you ready for this idea?" And I said,
"No, I was not."
I was there for this. I was
get on a
this.
plane. Let's get on a plane, go to the South Pole, and do a college radio pop-up for College Radio Day. And Annabella laughed, and I said, "No, seriously, I've looked into the flights. It's only $10,000 each."
It's only $10,000.
It's only $10,000 each. No big deal.
No big deal. So we've been doing this for a while. College radio has been a thing. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of it for a while, a couple years in, and then COVID happens, and then everything stops, right? So I know what that looked like for me. And I think everybody, you know, no one gets away from this without some experience with it, you know. But what does that look like for you and for the, you know, the College Radio Day? How did you decide to, or was there a moment where you decided, no, we have to do this year?
Well, so the other event that we do every year is Vinyl-thon, and that was pretty much, because that was in April, and that hit hard, really hard. Over half our stations dropped out because by you know, April was still very early, and people were still figuring out what on earth, what can we do, and they were still trying to figure out the protocols and how to set things up. College Radio Day was never in doubt, but you know, you've got to look to your fearless general manager, because Annabella, who's president this year of College Radio Day, was from the get-go saying, listen, we figured it out. At WMSC, you're college radio leaders anyway. You guys are doing phenomenal, you know, prior to COVID, you guys are doing pioneering work anyway. But when you guys figured it out, it was kind of like, okay, we've learned some things here. And a lot of college stations who are involved with College Radio Day, we sort of pull their resources and what have we learned? And to be honest with you, at my own station, when in Patterson, we, instinctive reaction, which I think would have been shared by a lot of stations, was to shut down. Like, we're just going to shut down. Well, our administration said we're locking down campus in March. Everyone get it. And it took a lot of persuading for us to get for them to sort of understand that we could open up again the station anyway, even if there weren't on-campus classes. We could work it out, that we could somehow figure it out. So it's important that we did this. And then I felt, I'm not alone, that actually, even if we did it remotely, even if we did it by social media or in a Zoom or whatever, there's still some real importance to that, because I think more than ever, people, because of the lockdown, because of this sort of self-isolation and being at home so much and seeing the same walls and the same faces, I think more than ever, there's been this need to connect, this need to want to feel solidarity and connect with other stations. And that's why this year has been really successful to the extent it has, because people, I mean, never before that I can recall that there's been a global event that has impacted everyone. Like, everyone is at home. Extraordinary. Like, calling my parents in England, and they're like, we're not going out, you know, we're under lockdown there. And it's really been completely extraordinary that the whole world has gone through this together. And I'm not saying it's a good thing. I mean, obviously, coronavirus has been a bad thing, but we have had the shared experience. And so College Radio Day is about not just that, not just like, we've been through this terrible time together, but we are actually on a whole variety of issues. College Radio really is doing very, very important work in being the outlet for students' voices, talking about issues, creating programming that cover things that no one else will. Often it's left up to College Radio to do the hard work and to cover things that no one else will cover. I do not think, and it sounds really negative, but I still to this day don't think that College Radio gets the kind of props it deserves. It doesn't get the respect or the recognition it really, really deserves, because we are an important part of the media landscape. So College Radio is important. So the fact that we're able to do this today, I think is really, really important. It's been a good reminder. And the fact that we've been able to do it responsibly, I believe, I hope that everyone has been really careful, and I see you guys all socially distanced. I mean, you guys have really been leading the way. WMSC, you've been doing phenomenal work for College Radio Day, but just day in, day out anyway for your own station. So I commend you with my glass of water.
A glass of water and not a tea. But I will say this, and I posted this last night, because in listening to and being with Tara, by the way, because we launched a lot earlier, right? Like, I thought we were going to New Zealand at 7 time zones. We don't do those well. I was like, oh, it's 6. So Tara and I went on air at 6. So it's going to be 31 hours of a marathon for WMSC. But in listening to the marathon and in talking to the students, the one thing I realized is that it was emotional for a couple of reasons. A, that we pulled it off, and we didn't know if it was going to be possible. We had many discussions whether this would happen or not based on Vinyl-thon. And then B, the fact that we're seeing everybody together in a safe way, seeing Ryan with a mask in studio, seeing Sean at Numa Media and his 15 students all sort of isolated in 4 different rooms. So there is social distancing. it just reminded me of how isolated we were and how together today feels. And it was emotional. It was a good feeling.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, no, and also, I mean, I want to thank Tara as well, because Tara, you've been working so hard. You're part of the team that's been doing. I've got my team now, by the way, so all is now really good. It is kind of emotional, and often we've been so busy doing this. We've been so preoccupied with, and Annabelle and myself and Tara, who's part of the team, we've been so busy just like running around, putting this thing together, that last night I was also caught unawares. I thought it was 7, suddenly it was 6. I'm like, what?
Yeah, we got the phone call. I'm like, we're going on at 6. I'm like, all right,
So
let's do it.
I was listening to it, and it's moments like that when it's I think the best thing about College Radio Day is when it's starting, it's now underway, and it's like, okay, now we can actually sort of enjoy this thing, because we've been working up to the day, but there is that solidarity, and I think when you actually, I mean, I know we're listening to people, but the thing is, we've had a couple of occasions with these conferences called Alternatives. We did one in Finland, and we did one in England last year. And it's a rare opportunity for us to, all these people that you hear in the air from around the world, we come together, and it's just incredible. It's like we know each other. It's like a family, and it's like we have this thing. That's what it is that in this highly divisive time, when there's so much, and I'm not going to get political, but there's so much division in this country, and everyone's sort of very suspicious, and goodwill is diminishing, ever diminishing, that there's just this incredible feeling of acceptance and warmth and just sort of unconditional acceptance is the word, is that people are really open and welcoming. And we've kind of missed that. We've kind of lost that recently. It's been a dreadful year. And so the fact that we can come together in this way, it is emotional. I mean, I was feeling it. I just think we're just running around all the time working so hard. And yet this is why we do it. For moments like this is exactly why we do it, because it's important stuff. And I'm looking at you guys, and this is a memory, guys. I mean, I'm looking at you, Sabrina and George and Leslie, Ryan, Tara as well, that you will, there's no doubt about it. We're going to see better times, and you'll look back upon this year and you'll say that was just a very, very strange year. That was a weird year. But you'll look back on it, and there'll be bad memories, of course, but there'll be good memories. There's always a silver lining. There'll be good things that came from this time. But the fact that you soldiered on through, that's really, really important. This will be something that you'll tell your kids about and your grandkids, and you'll be on the lemonade porch rocking back and forward.
I think
Be like,
I think
we
one
don't
of
want to
the
go out and
memories.
play. I'm gonna be like, I didn't have a choice.
I think one of the memories that will stay with me from doing quarantine shows was there was a big storm, and I'm going to call out our producer of the show, Ryan Trick. He had this interview set up with this woman who, was coming to talk about ways to cope and ways to be able to concentrate and finish the semester strong. And there's a storm outside to the point that I already have connected my generator. And so does my engineer, thinking we're holding on. I'm strapped to my desk with a belt just in case we fly off, And Ryan is about to go on this interview with Amanda, who's also on the call. And he's the one who's supposed to do it. And a tree falls down right next to his house, rips the wires out, crashes his car, and he goes bloop and disappears right as we're coming into the interview.
I would say probably 90 seconds before I was going to introduce the interview. Yeah.
That's wild. That is
But we
wild.
pulled through, and Amanda came in, and she was like, okay.
By the way, shouts out to Ryan and Amanda for just handling the morning buzz. Like that's our flagship thing on WMSC. You guys have under amounts of strain that we had literally no right to ask of you to come in and be like, listen, we need you to hold this down like you guys did. And I mean, that speaks volumes about you guys.
Yeah.
It's
And
awesome. You guys killed it.
And the fact that you guys still were broadcasting live throughout the entire coronavirus, the Morning Buzz was one of the only shows that did that. And I think that's so cool. And one of definitely the best memories, probably, if anything, the best memory from this whole experience.
Yeah, to be able to still drive out the studio, because I know Tara and I were splitting duties between me going in and her staying, to be able to go back and still have that feeling and still be able to feel like something's normal in a good way without, putting ourselves in danger is great. And it's bittersweet because this is going to be my last college radio day. And, to be able to actually do it in still a good way and be able to sign off my time here at WMSC is great.
Yeah. I guess I have one more question then, and I want to get back to that, by the way. I don't think I forgot about you. My apprentice DJ Phil, remember that? But I have one more question for Rob then. What is your favorite thing about it? Like you've got all this experience under your belt with College Radio Day and having seen that it can still happen in these circumstances. Like, what is your favorite thing? What is the thing after, you've run on 3 hours of sleep and you're like fully running on fumes? What is the thing that makes you be like, nah, this was worth it?
That's a really excellent question, because just when you started to ask that question, I was thinking about the answer and I was like, okay. I think it's what I get out of it. When I see the kind of happiness it brings you guys, when I see that you value and it's really important to you to be part of this experience. When I see this, that for me is like, this is why we do it, for the students to have this experience. And that for me is like really important. And what Philippe just said, you are right. This is for you and for many others across the country right now, around the world. This will be the end. This will be the last of their College Radio Day experiences as a student anyway. And there is something to be said about that your college career is marked and defined by landmark events, because you can't remember every day of your college experience, but you remember certain highlights. And for many students, this is a highlight of their college experience. And that's what, like, to see the students who really enjoy this, it's their day, it's your day, is really amazing to me, and makes it all worthwhile to see how the students are so motivated to do 31 hours, right? But also to then realize that obviously this is some students, the last time they get a chance to do this, from the side of obviously being a student. One of my students, she graduated, she was there College Radio Day #1. Then with the other story, I'll give you 30 seconds, I know you've got to finish, but the first ever College Radio Day is 2011. We launched it in New York City at this bar owned by Fallout Boy's Pete Wentz. He said you can have the bar for the night. Great idea. In reality, we didn't realize you don't do a launch party at a bar for a 24-hour event. And so we, I can only speak for myself. I was compos mentis. For the students, we got back, we launched this thing, they were doing shots, we got back to the station and everyone collapsed. And there was like human wreckage strewn out everywhere, the sofas and the floor, they're all asleep, except the one lone DJ who was slapping himself to stay awake. I said, guys, we have 21 hours to go. And they were—
It's on, wake up!
And they had just thrown themselves into this party, and everyone was wasted, and it was like just lying around human debris on the couch, draped over couches. I never forget that, but it was a magnificent memory. So that's what I would say.
That's awesome, and thank you so much for making this happen and spearheading this, both you and our president for this year and next year, boss Annabella Poland. You guys—
Well, Annabella has been absolutely brilliant. She obviously has secret powers, the fact that she is obviously bilingual. She can speak Spanish, but she can communicate to parts of the world that I can't and speak. So she has brought this world together. She's, we got Argentina with us for the first time, I think, because it's been really hard to get that country aboard. But she did, and you're working with someone who's first class and world class. Your boss is world class, guys. So it's been a pleasure to work with her. And next year, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, next year we're going to take it to 11, right, Rob? Can we get the exclusive of that? Can we get the exclusive on the record here?
Can we get can we say that next year we're going to be turned up to 11?
Yeah, we have to do that, and we've got to get well, we're not going to spoil anything, but we've got to do it. And I've already seen it's not a station got masks made for College Radio Day. They sent us a picture yesterday, and they've got a volume dial up maximum, and that could be— I've already seen the image, volume dial up to 11.
Yeah, it's louder.
So we're going to Antarctica though, right? Like, are we announcing that now?
Why not? Let's have a rock concert in Antarctica. I love it.
Yeah, dude.
All about it.
Might do it.
We could mic up some penguins.
Penguins dance like Happy Feet.
I would do it.
Yes.
Didn't Metallica play a concert in Antarctica?
Yeah, they did.
Oh my
What
God.
if we did that, guys? What if we honestly, what if we said, we're going to do it? It's going to take several months of planning. We'll get on a plane. We arrive at South Pole. It's cold. Got my mittens on, but we're strumming guitars.
I would do
Oh,
it.
No,
If I could, I
imagine it.
would. I would.
I imagine like the penguins of Madagascar who get on the boat and they get there, and then when they arrive, they're scratched their butts and they're like, "This stinks."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing down there,
Oh.
but it's been amazing, and it's been amazing to do this and be a part of it. And thank you guys so much for putting this together. I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you for all you did, Tara. Leading the charge. Yep.
I gotta
Being the ambassador.
shout out. Yeah, I mean, it was really cool being able to work with Brett Michaels and talk to him and be able to put that out there and kind of work with somebody like that who's
Hear yourself in Italy.
and hear myself on the radio in Italy, but not only that, but work with somebody who is so genuine and like down for this. Like, you know, we've had a lot of people that, and this is no shade to any of them, they've all been awesome, but not everybody's down to like, I am actively going to help. Like, I am actively going to like be a part of this process. Not every one of our ambassadors, I wouldn't say any of them have done it to this level. I mean, we're incredibly thankful for all of them because they've all been a part of it, obviously. But like Brett coming in and being like, I want to talk to all of the students that want to talk to me. I want to match the donations you guys have built up to keep college radio stations running and keep the lights on. You know, that is unprecedented. You know, it's amazing, and to have, you know, him be such a genuine guy. So it was awesome. And also, even though she's not on the call, shouts out to Kaya for making sure all those videos got out, making sure they got traction. This would not have happened without her either. Like, she's been on point and making sure that we get heard and making sure that all the videos get published and get out there. So even though you bailed on the Super Buzz,
Yeah, she was supposed to be on.
forgive
and
you.
I think she just crashed from putting in so much work and trying to.
Kai's been
balance
on
everything,
point
too.
with that, like on point. So I there's no way I could take all the credit for the Brett thing. Like, she has been, you know, just as big a part making it happen on the internet. Because if no one sees it, then what's the point? And she's making sure people see it.
You know, it's what you're experiencing, what you're talking about right now is what it feels like to be in a team that works, to be part of a team that's a good team. And it's a rare thing in life. Often you go to work and you get a job and you hope that you're part of an organization that has a good team, that there's good people in there, there's camaraderie, and you all work together and you make things happen. And often that obviously doesn't happen. But when you're part of a good team and things work and people make things happen, there's nothing like it. Professionally speaking, there's nothing like it. And you guys have got one hell of a team. I salute you for that.
I mean, I think we're part of it. All of us, the Brave New Radio, all the stations involved, everything. And next year we got to do this up at Red Hawk and give those people something to think about, because we always do. Give those people at the diner some stories to go home and be like, yo, like 5 a.m, 10 idiots rolled in here at like full volume and we're ready to like. I remember, because real quick before we wrap, I remember we were doing, I forget who we were impersonating, but me, Josh, Nate, we were doing impressions, and we had people in the other booths laughing. But thank you so much. Phil, is there anybody else whose last college radio day it is this year?
Aside from me?
Yeah, we don't
I'm
have
not
too
sure.
much time because we got to dip in like less than a minute.
I've
So
elected
you and
Sam to
George-
take my place, though.
So Phil,
It's
George,
my-
closing thoughts.
I mean, it's just amazing, you know. I can't really put words to it.
Yeah, and going off of that, I loved it. So much fun every 4 years. I've been doing this, and in the words of Ringo Starr, peace and love, all you need is love.
Absolutely, and
I
I'm
won't sign in
insane-
fan mail.
No, not anymore. I'm insanely proud of you guys and what you've been able to do with this. And I could go for a long time if we had it, talking about the memories that we made and how I'm really happy that you guys are in the professional world. It makes it look a lot better with you guys in it. So I'm going to do it because You are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is World College Radio Day 2020. And we're on all for the rest of the day, celebrating with all the colleges around the world. I've been Tara for the Super Buzz. Have an excellent day.